But look at this. Look at this. I got a couple people already. Y'all not talking, but hi. Um, I guess while people file in, I'll give people a little bit of update. A few weeks ago, no, a couple of weeks ago, I put a post on Instagram that was talking about I had PRK surgery for my eyes, and I was probably going to be down for a little bit, and I was for about a week. I didn't really answer comments or anything. Hey EB, hey Julie, hey Chi Chi or Shy Shy or Seattle Girl Turquoise. What's up, Turquoise? I used to know somebody named Turquoise. Um, uh, and everyone else. I can't read everybody's name as they pop up. But so anyway, I got my PRK surgery. And one of the lingering effects of PRK for at least 3 weeks or so was your ability to see computer screens clearly. So I'm not really having any trouble seeing the comments right now, but that's why I haven't been going live for the last few weeks because looking at a computer screen was just difficult um, for the last 2 weeks. Some days it's still difficult. Some days my vision is better than other days, but the PRK healing process is a lot slower than the LASIK process. So with that said, I've missed everybody. I was trying to do live at least once a week, and I had done well for about 3 weeks. But then that happened. So and I haven't been feeling well, and so that's another thing. But this weekend, I just wanted to just go live and talk to a few people. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, I guess I can jump back into this. Jump right into this. Let me see. We'll get into some questions. If I think of anything that I need to update you guys on, I'll definitely do that. Um, we got a million highs. Oh, it was my birthday. Wednesday was my birthday. So for all of the people who came through my Instagram page and showed me love on my birthday and gave me, positive vibes and well wishes and all of that stuff, I really appreciate that. That was really nice seeing the very large, warm reception I had for, just putting it out there that it was my birthday. So I was feeling very loved on my birthday, even though I wasn't feeling very good. I'm still not feeling that well. I got some lingering crap going on, but I feel better than I did on my birthday. So I appreciate all the love. My Instagram was jumping on my birthday. So let's get into it. We'll try to get into it. Oh, now we got a flutter. Happy belated birthday. Yeah, I just told people for my birthday to just be nice to me, and I said I was accepting all well wishes, positive vibes, uh, prayers, prophecies, whatever somebody had that was good for me. I wanted to receive it on my birthday, by way of energy. Uh, and it was an awesome birthday. I always have a good birthday. I have a good life. So my birthday is just icing on the cake. I have a good life plus a few gifts. That's always nice. I got an Apple iWatch. So I'm excited about that. I'm still trying to figure out how I can use it and, how it applies to me. But it's been really cool to have one. I've been talking on the phone with it. Okay. Um, just heard a weird sound. I think my neighbors are still partying outside. Somebody said, "I thought I was missing your lives. Good, you're back." No, I haven't. I haven't been going live. If you look at my video history, I don't delete any videos. So, uh, the last live you seen was the last live I had. I didn't. I haven't been live in maybe a month. Like I said, I just had a lot of stuff going on, and with the PRK, the last 2 weeks has been almost impossible. So that's that for that live stuff. But I'm back now. I'm gonna try to do one every weekend at least. Um, Somebody said, "Feel better. Do you give advice for men just wondering?" Yeah, I have a few guys. 95% of my viewership is women, but I have a few guys that get in the comment section or write me if they're not in the comment section. And yes, when I meet men or when I talk to guys and they ask me advice, I give them advice the same. I don't really mind giving guys advice. Like there's nothing in me that stops. Many people have asked me why I don't have a channel more dedicated to men. Uh, Usually, the men who need that type of advice aren't looking for it. if men are having a good time, manipulating women, they're not looking for someone like me to tell them how not to, get more tail. They're looking for, advice on how to be more efficient with their games. And so, you know, I guess there are men who would listen to it, but the good men who watch my channel and the ones who watch my channel are generally pretty good guys. Sometimes they need some guidance, and if they write me, I always answer them too. Let me see. Somebody said, I've literally watched all of your videos. Well, I appreciate it. I don't even watch all my videos, not anymore. I used to watch every one a few times. I used to study how how I gave the message. Now I don't even like watching my old videos. I can't watch any of my old videos. I'm so embarrassed while I'm watching them. The quality has definitely grown in time, and so I'm grateful for that. But it's very difficult watching any of my first 20 videos. And it's amazing. The first video I ever released was one of my most popular videos to date, and it was just so unrefined. Somebody said Instagram. I messaged you a week or so ago and never got a response from you. Well, I generally get 15 or 30, sometimes 40 DMs a week. It just depends on how much traffic I'm getting on YouTube. If it's a big week for me on YouTube, then my Instagram gets out of hand quick. And then I still have running conversations with people. You got to think, I got 100 people write me in a month's time on Instagram, or in a 2-week period, and I actually respond to, let's say I get to 70 of them. Well, then there's still a back and forth that happens. So a lot of times these are conversations, and so it takes me a while to get to a lot of people. And remember, email advice is no longer absolutely free. Like for the last, almost 2 years. In November will be 2 years I've been doing YouTube. For the last 2 years almost, email advice has been absolutely free. I've answered thousands of emails for absolutely nothing, and I still take 20, 25, 30 minutes on an email because I care that much. I think I've done enough charity work that enough good karma should follow me that I don't need to do that anymore. And it's always a pleasure helping people, but I can't help thousands of people for free every day. There's not enough time in the day for me to help everybody. So with the Instagrams, that's kind of where I help people when I have the chance to just be cool and respond to people. But at the same time, if you really want a response, anybody, if you really need a response and your situation is it's important to you to get a response, donate something, any amount of donation to my PayPal account. You write your email in PayPal, and then you copy it and forward it into your Gmail, into my Gmail, and you'll get your response. But if you don't donate anything, you may or may not get a response, and that's not because I'm only talking to people who give me money. It's just because I don't have enough time in the day. There's just not enough time, not enough of me to go around for me to answer every free email anymore. So that's that. But if you really want a response, you can make a donation of any amount, and I'll get to you as quick as possible. I always make sure I get to those people. Let me see. Somebody said first time catching you live. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming. Let me see. Oh, wow. I'm trying to flip through the birthday comments so I can see what's going on. And thank you for all the happy birthdays, too. I'm feeling very loved right now. Somebody said, what type of questions are you looking to answer? While I have a relationship channel, dating, love, relationships, whatever you like to call it, whatever you're in at the moment, I'll talk about anything. These live sessions are just me talking back to you guys, or girls or ladies, so whoever in the audience. But I'll talk about anything, whatever y'all want to talk about. That's what I'll talk about. If you got a question about anything, if I have a perspective to offer, I'll offer it. If I don't know anything about it, I'll just tell you I don't know enough about it. This iWatch is interesting. I'm still getting used to having the alert on my wrist. But yeah, ask me whatever you want about whatever. Well, thank you, CA, gave me a $10 super chat. I don't see a question. Let me make sure I got it. I got a question. Okay, she said, "Hi, Kev Guidelines. Please give us guidelines on self-love through your videos and live chats. You seem to know about self-love and self-respect." That's a very interesting comment. In fact, it's it's one of the next videos I have. I've been I've been tasked by one of my favorite subscribers to make a love about exactly that. And so, you know, I'll save it for the video, but it will be one of the next few videos I do. Probably the next video I do will be about self-love, self-care, self-esteem, and the concepts and the guidelines of exactly that. Because a lot of people hear that and they don't really know how to apply it. They don't know what it means. It sounds lofty to someone who might struggle with it, but it's more than possible for most of us to establish a better self-care system. And so, and this is not something that anyone actually masters. No one's perfect, and you just have to find out what your weaknesses are, and try to bring them up. But sometimes you just operate in your strengths. There are things that you do well, and things that you can be confident about that you can start with, right? And so, for me, it's just about making sure that I never lose sight of the good in me and the strengths that I have, the things that give me confidence, and and improve my self-concept. And so we're definitely going to be talking about that in the video coming up. I'm still preparing it. I take a while for these videos because I prepare them. A lot of people just turn the camera on and ramble, and I can do that. I can ramble with the best of them. I can ramble for an hour about anything, but I also want to make sure that the people who are watching me aren't just getting content, but they're getting quality. So that's why I take so long with, certain concepts. Somebody will say, "Hey, do a video about this," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm working on it." And they think working on it means it's coming out Tuesday, or and it might be 2 or 3 weeks. And it's not because I'm taking 2 or 3 weeks to write the video, but I'm taking at least 2 hours, to really think on these concepts and focus in on the quality that I can bring to somebody. And so, yeah, it takes me a while to write these videos because I'm writing multiple videos at a time. Um, it might be 4 or 5 videos like in process in my phone at any given minute. And I have to be in the mood. I have to be in the place mentally to write on this stuff sometimes. I don't just try to think my way through things. I really want to feel what I'm supposed to feel as I'm writing it. I really want to connect, and I want my stuff to be genuine. And so that's why it takes me a while to write them. But thank you for the Vivian. I don't know why I didn't see your name. I've been talking to you. I think I just wrote you, Vivian. I did. I think I just wrote you today. I hope you got my email. And like I said, some of the stuff I've been talking to you about will be in that next video that I write. So I appreciate you, Vivian. I really do. Uh, Cretel Ruse, Washington. Uh, can you talk about online? And I'm so sorry if I beat your last name up. I got the Washington part down. I knew I got that right. She said, can you talk about online dating? I personally don't like it. I want to just meet someone organically, but survey says actually people. I'll be waiting a long time, maybe forever for that. No, you won't. You just have to go where people are. Um, I don't think that's. I don't think that's like we're in the information age and we're in this internet age, and so everything is like internet dependent. Everybody thinks that if it's not happening on the internet, then it's not happening. But there are still shopping malls in America. There are still movie theaters in America. There are still local parks, like public places in America. You still can go to a concert and meet someone. You can still go to an arena or an event and meet someone, a sports game or anything like. There are still a plethora of places that you can meet a real person and survey them in person in real time, right? Feel their energy, see their stature, the way they carry themselves, the body language that they have, the emotion that they carry with them, the depth that they have, personally. So I don't think that meeting someone in person organically is as far fetched as it seems. I think that many times women, and I got a lot of flack from my um, what was it, three reasons why women can, and sometimes not everybody, but sometimes should approach a guy. I got a whole lot of flack for that. I think that was the most disagreeable video I've ever done. I'm not concerned with people agreeing with me, so it didn't bother me a damn bit. But I think that so many people think that it's hard to meet someone organically because so many things have to go right for you to meet someone if you refuse to make an impression on a person before they have to make one on you. And so, yes, you can meet someone organically, but it might take you, smiling, waving, talking, introducing yourself. And if you're above those things, then yes, the perfect guy may or may not ever approach you when you're in a mood to receive him. That's very very plausible. But to say that you can walk past 100 people in a week's time and not meet anyone is just ridiculous. You can meet someone. If you go outside, you can meet someone right now, but you just have to be willing to meet people. You have to be willing to meet men halfway sometimes, because every man isn't an apex predator. Every man doesn't want to chase. I think that's hogwash, and people should stop saying it just because that's their experience. A lot of women aren't getting chased. A lot of people don't have that personality. A lot of men don't have that personality profile. So you can definitely meet people organically, but I think you just have to do a bit more work socially when you're in person with a person. And I'll talk more about how to approach a guy if you're going to approach a guy in a video coming up. Um, but like I said, we'll talk about that. Chanel Kyles, do you believe that all men are incapable of being faithful? No, I think that unfaithful men say that so much uh, for the simple purpose of discouraging women to think into thinking that they can receive better from men. Like there are so many dogs out there telling women, "Oh, every man cheats," and then so many women who've been cheated on that would rather believe every man cheats than just to believe that they're bad at picking men, right? Or they're bad judges of character, or that they put up with too much. So instead of raising their standards and loving themselves, a character trait of self love, right? Not putting up with things that you don't have to. Instead of not taking shit, they instead assume and choose to believe that everyone, no matter who it is, will give them, a mistreatment of some sort. And I think it's a cop out. Like every man doesn't cheat. I personally, and maybe birds of a feather flock together, but I know of a lot of men who don't cheat on their women. I do. I know of a whole lot of men who don't cheat on their women. Like none of my friends are cheating on their women. Not at the moment. Not that I know of. Not that I've heard of. It's not a thing for every guy. A lot of guys cheat, and every man is tempted. I'm not saying every man is tempted. Every man isn't tempted. Somebody jumped in my comments the other day and like, well, if you really loved your woman, you wouldn't ever want to sleep with another woman. You wouldn't ever want to be attracted to nobody else, and that's just not true, right? If you're a demisexual, then that's true for you, right? Because a demisexual is a person who only feels sexually aroused when they're emotionally connected to someone. But outside of demisexuals and asexuals, men are attracted to women. And so the very thought of a man being attracted to a woman in and of itself can seem like infidelity to some people, but it's not. It's just nature. And asking a man to go against nature is ridiculous. People betray God when they have faith. They betray themselves with bad decisions. You're going to be betrayed in some way, at least in a man's mind. But good men make sure that it doesn't exceed their imaginations. Right. That's the whole point. Good men make the decision that their physical actions don't mirror the worst of their minds, uh, and that's all you can hope for. So no, I don't believe all men are incapable of being faithful. I believe that unfaithful men are incapable of being faithful, and they're making excuses for it and lowering standards around the world just to make excuses for it so that they don't have to compete with better men. And y'all believe it. Uh, somebody, Michelle Crawford, show love. She said $20 donation just to support you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna take that as a birthday gift because my birthday was Wednesday, and I ran through my little spending money. So I'm gonna put that on my birthday tab. I appreciate that. Thank you for being nice to me. Let me, if I can get this off of here. It's coming. Okay. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate that. Okay, let me get in here. Uh, somebody said, hi Kev, how can we ask questions about relationships? Okay, this is the way you can ask me a question about relationships. If you just have a general question, something that's very quick, very simple, normal, like conversational, you can DM me. If you have a question specific to your situation, paragraphs and details and dates and things of that nature, then you have to write me through PayPal, or you can send money to PayPal, a donation of any amount of your choosing. I've gotten in some very small donations, and I've gotten some nice donations, but a donation of any amount of your choosing. I'm just asking you to give me something so I can give you something, a fair exchange, because otherwise I get taxed feeling like I'm just doing charity for everybody. That's kind of annoying after a while. You feel like a superhero at first, and then you feel annoyed that no one's offering anything back, right? So anyway, if you want to email me at kevhicktalksguyswithgirls@gmail.com. You will get a kickback giving you directions on how to make a donation. You can either do it that way, or you can just go right to the PayPal link and write your email in PayPal. I would prefer the email in PayPal and just leave the email address that you want me to write you back at. And then you'll get an email from another email address that I don't give out. And that way I can keep track of who I'm talking to, who's given, and you don't get lost in the sauce. Because a lot of times people want to email me at one of the public emails, the Kev Hick Talks Guys with Girls, or even my one for phone conversation scheduling, which is talkwithkevhick at gmail.com. And they'll email that one because it's easy. But what they don't realize is that, I get so much traffic on those that even if you did pay, you'll get lost. You'll get lost in the sea of other people because that's where everybody's sending their emails. So if you want to make sure you get heard, write your email in PayPal and leave me an email address, and I will contact you from another email address that no one outside of anyone who's ever donated would have. And that way you don't get lost in a sea of free emails, because again, I get hundreds of emails a month, and I would hate for somebody to give back to me and then I miss them because they got lost in the sea. So write your emails in PayPal. That's the safest way to do it. And I'll write you back on the email that you provide in PayPal. You still got to go to PayPal either way, so you might as well just do it that way. And you can copy and paste your email and then put it in the Gmail, and that's fine with me. But I need it in PayPal as well. I will hope to have it in PayPal. Eric Wells just gave me $10. No question. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me see. Let me see. I was thinking on my birthday. I remember when I was in high school and you could run around with a little money pin on your shirt, and you had such a great day because you get $1 at a time from like 100 people. Man, I wish adults could do that. I would have went to work like that, but I don't work on my birthday, so they can kiss my ass. I would have showed up the next day and told them it was my birthday then. But I missed them little money pins. I sometimes you think about being young, and man, it was some good times. I remember I used to have this crown on my head, and I used to have my little money pin on. I was styling on my birthday. Let me see. Somebody said, "Hey Kev, I wanted to come on here and say what's up. Can't say watching the fight. Wanted to show love. It is a fight this weekend, isn't it? It is a fight this weekend. Is that Deontay Wilder? Is it? Anyway, I don't know. Y'all probably don't know, but I think Deontay Wilder, the boxing fight might be on this weekend. None of y'all care about that. Somebody said, first time being live here. Thanks for your video. So helpful. I appreciate you. Thank you. Turquoise Haskins says, had PRK surgery too. Longer healing time, but it's safer because the cornea is left intact. The cornea is left intact. It may help if you wear your shades while using your laptop. Yeah, I guess the shades would work, but I didn't want to look like the Terminator on here. And I think sometimes with my eyes, the shades just irritate me a bit more because it has to dilate your pupils. You have to take in more light. I don't know. I just get an instant headache when I put sunglasses on. So I'm trying not to wear them unless I'm driving in the daylight because it's just too bright. Apple Watch going off. I think my wife just texted me. Every time, I don't know if she's watching or not, but when my wife is watching and I'm missing text messages, she always hits me. Okay, Ann Rogers, I missed your super chat because, and through no fault of your own, YouTube doesn't feel like, Ann Rogers, I'm talking to you. Thank you for your super chat. YouTube, for some reason or another, doesn't feel like if somebody gives less than $2, I should see it. And I think that's absolutely wrong. If you give me 3 cents, I want to see your question, right? I just think that's fair. But YouTube doesn't believe that. So Aaron Rodgers, you gave me a super chat. Um, oh, and Ann Rogers, she says, I'm a female. I'm on my son's account. Okay. Okay. So Ann Rogers, I appreciate that. And I know you're not Eric Wells. That's your son. But she said, I'm broke, but I want you to feel, I don't want you to feel used. Happy birthday. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I don't feel used. And I think that's one of the reasons why I started having to charge something, just so I wouldn't feel burnt out on, and because sometimes I wouldn't get so much of a thank you for the response, and I write like people write me 3 and 4 pages, or they write me a whole page, and I write them back a whole page, and then I never hear from them. And I spent 40 minutes trying to help somebody with their issues, and then I never hear from them. It's frustrating. So sometimes it ain't about being used as much as it's about being appreciated. And that was one of my things. Like I probably got a response from every third email I wrote back. And if y'all knew how long it takes me to sit down, and write somebody, that's ridiculous. I mean, you talking about 100, probably 100 hours of me writing people, and those people aren't not responding. And me trying to be nice to everybody. And sometimes when people don't have to give anything, they don't appreciate anything, and it makes you feel a little bit underappreciated. So that was my whole thing, is that. And then I got a family. I ain't got no business on a computer writing 10 people for 30 minutes at a time with nothing to show for it. I got babies at home. I got a wife at home. People need to eat around here, and we eat pretty good, and I want to keep us eating pretty good. Okay, let me get this. I'm trying to get the. I'm gonna have to delete this just so I can see. Sometimes this chat be tripping. It won't let me get off of this. I'm gonna have to delete Michelle Crawford's comment just so I can see the doggone chat. Hold on, y'all. Here we go with this. Okay. Hopefully this pop up helps. Sierra Dorch. I appreciate you. Sierra Dorch gave me $20. Thank you. She said, "Happy birthday. I don't have PayPal, but I have a personal situation I would like to ask about." Okay, that's personal. That's positive. Do you have and you probably, if you have Instagram, DM me right now. Put a bunch of stars or circles or emojis, or just put something to make your email stand out so I can see it. And DM me Instagram, because my Instagram runs a bit slower than my Gmail. And I'll get right to you, and just let me know who you are, and did I talk to you on PayPal. And if you don't have Instagram, then write me in Gmail, and again, use a bunch of symbols, and I'll get right to you. I'll be looking for you, Sierra Dorch. So, like I said, just make sure you write me tonight, and before I go to sleep, I at least identify your email and try to get back to you tomorrow. Okay? And thank you for your donation. Taticia Sherman Norwood. Hey, you got a lot of letters in your name, but I can dig it. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your super chat. Say happy birthday, kid. Wish I could give more, but dealing with the aftermath of Michael. The aftermath. You talked about him like he's a hurricane. He said the aftermath of my. No, that is a hurricane. Now you're in where? Man, everybody's getting hit with hurricanes. I'm so sorry to hear about that. You actually are talking about a hurricane. I thought you were referring to a really bad relationship, but I think you're talking about an actual hurricane. So I apologize about that. And like I said, I'm gonna keep y'all in my prayers, because I know a lot of people lost a lot of stuff, a lot of goods. A few people even died. Not even a few, probably a lot. The death toll rises is the last article I seen about Michael. So I keep y'all in my prayers, and I appreciate your super chat, because you definitely didn't have to do it. You got enough to worry about. Broken J 21, thank you for your $10 super chat. She said, "I heard a lot that you shouldn't date if you're not at your best. In your opinion, what does being at your best look like?" I know this is different for everyone, but I just want to hear your opinion. I think being at your best is when you're at a place mentally where you don't need the validation of the man that you're dating. You're just adding him to your life, right? So like, you have people always say, "Well, this is icing on the cake." Well, that's icing on the cake, but they don't have a cake, right? Like they're missing the thing that they're missing fullness, they're missing wholeness, they're not whole, and then they're trying to add a relationship to that. And what it does is it burdens the person that you're dating with completing you. And we always hear about this. And I keep telling you I'm gonna make a video about this article I wrote on my website, girltalkwithguys.com, a while ago. I just haven't done it. But people always say, well, we people two come together and we come together as one. That's great to come together as one, but you got to be whole first. And so I like the idea of people coming together to make two, coming together as two. Because if you come together as one, for me, it just implies that you don't have to be whole already to add yourself to a relationship. And so being at your best is at a place where your self concept is high enough to give you self confidence and self esteem. And your self esteem is built on your self concept, not the concept of others. Uh, it, it's when you value yourself enough that you don't necessarily need someone else to see that to believe that. It's about self validation, and self respect and self worth. And I think that when someone believes in themselves and they believe that they have something to offer the world, and then they live by that, and they hold people to that standard. They hold people to the standard of giving them what they believe they deserve in life. That's when they're at their best. Until you think you believe, or until you believe you deserve more, until you actually believe you're worth it, you're not at your best. And you're going to be dependent emotionally on a relationship until you reach that place where you believe in yourself, and the value that you have doesn't come from other people's opinion of you, but it comes from your self concept and your self esteem. Uh, uh, Tisa Harris says, "Happy birthday! I love the video you did on plus size dating." Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat, and thank you for watching. And Michelle Crawford shows some more love with $20, just on the strength. Apparently, I appreciate you. I really do. I think I got you, Broken Jay. So yeah, that self love and like self esteem, like these things they paramount, because any relationship that you get in will be affected by the level of self love, self care, and self esteem that you apply. Some people have a lot of self care, but they have zero actual self love or self esteem. A lot of people you see, self care can look like self love. When it's really just a cover up. Self care can be the makeup, to having no self esteem for a lot of people. A lot of people keep themselves up, and you would never know that they are broken inside. A lot of people, commit suicide that are assumed to be happy, because they have thus and so. And so, it's not about having one of those things. It's about having them all in equal doses, because they are all important. And I think you have more to offer when you believe in who you are. And that's just my opinion on self care, self love, and self esteem, and being at your best. Right? I think you don't have much to offer a man if you don't believe in who you are, and he doesn't have much to offer you if he has the same problem. The two broken people shouldn't be together. They should definitely be apart. Let me get back into these questions. And just one more shout out, Michelle Crawford. You are truly a blessing. I said first time catching you live. Yeah, appreciate you. Hey, Kev, wanted to come on, say what up. Okay, read that one. Let me see. Okay, so somebody said, Julie Terrell said, Kev, I'll throw my question out there, and if you answer, it's sweet. If not, it's okay. I've been waiting to sleep with someone and just messaging, and they didn't message me today. Do I wait? Do I wait them out? You've been waiting to sleep with someone and just messaging, and they didn't message you today. Do you wait them out? I don't know. I don't have enough context for that. If you're just waiting to sleep with them, then no, I don't think any of those self-value, self-love, self-esteem things apply. I think that if you're waiting to sleep with someone, then you're and I don't mean it bad at all, but you're kind of self-serving anyway. Like, in this particular situation, you want something from them. You obviously want to be gratified physically by them. I can get that. I understand that. But because it's just like about the lust of it all, neither of you owe any of the other ones any courtesy. There's like they don't owe you attention because you're not seeking attention. You're seeking sex. And if a guy was seeking sex from you, and you just blew him off, it will be the same thing. But sex is always on the table for two people who are potentially attracted to each other. So while there might not be a lot of interest, sex is probably usually still on the table. But that's not a realm I play in a lot. So, go for it. I don't think that a guy not messaging you for one day, under whatever circumstance, is enough to cut them off. Um, but waiting him out, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait for the D. I mean, hypothetically speaking, I wouldn't wait around forever for the D, because clearly, if you got to wait too long, there's limited interest there. You don't want to play yourself. You don't want to be that girl that was begging for the D and didn't get it, and kept begging. I think that's a bit. Um, I think that's a bit self-sacrificing. I think that you're doing a whole lot for the D if you're waiting people out. So, like I said, I don't really play in that realm a lot, but hey, man, more power to you. Do your thing. I don't know what to say about that. I think I'm looking like Vivian again. Vivian, how you doing? She said, Vivian says, I appreciate your $10 super chat, Vivian. Vivian can tell y'all how to get an email. Vivian, she's gone through the process. Vivian's cool people. I said, we need a video on grieving at the end of the relationship and how to rebuild, how to move on properly, do's and don'ts. That's a wonderful, wonderful question, Vivian. And you know what? I was going to write it down on my phone, but it's going to take me too long. Vivian, why don't you copy and paste that and Gmail it to me at your convenience? I know I was going to talk to you sometime today or tomorrow anyway. So copy and paste that in your next email to me so I can remember that. And I'll write that down and I'll get started on that because that's a good one. Somebody said, Kev, I found your channel by accident, but I'm glad I did. I appreciate that. Thank you. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say they were looking for like a music video or some crap, and then my channel just popped up out of nowhere. Somebody say, is online dating worth it? How do you see yourself? How do you set yourself apart? It's very, very difficult to set yourself apart online dating. I think that if you have a unique style, that's always a plus. Um, you have a unique face. Like guys are still shopping. Like a man falls in love with his eyes. We all know that. So if you have a very unique look or a unique style, that can really set you apart from, because the majority of people aren't going through a lot of trouble to make the impression. A lot of people are way too prideful to even attempt too hard to make an impression. And so once you weed through the people who do want to make an impression, you normally get one of two impressions. You get the sexual impression that some people try to make, and so there are a lot of women who present all of the sex value that they have, and that's very enticing to a man. And not all men, but there are men who love it. And then there are the different body types. So women are so unique in so many different ways that you can set yourself apart in a way that you're not even familiar with, but men will see it. So if you have a personality, character trait, or a quirk that seems to work for you in real life, if you find a way to capture that in film or on camera, that will be a great way to start. That would be a good place to start. But it's just about trying to add your personality and your character and your essence to your pictures. And generic pictures are just that. And so trying to figure out how to insert your personality into the presentation of who you are on the internet is a task, but it's worth it. A lot of women are deep. They're into, certain things, whether their thing love is astrology, whether their love is, sports, volleyball, instruments, music, singing, sometimes the subject matter a woman likes to sing. Like I've been dating online, or I've dated online since from high school to, uh, you know, to mid adulthood. And I feel like in my experience, I've looked at so many different profiles that women had. I didn't necessarily see the same type of beauty from every profile, even if the pictures were the same. You know, there are ways to look at a person's profile and tell that they're different in one way or another. So don't put too much stress on yourself about trying to set yourself apart. Just be you. But show not, just don't show a bunch of face pictures. A lot of women take a million selfies and they think their profile is like a good sales pitch, and it's like having 50 headshots. Like, you need one headshot if you're an actor. You don't need 50. You might need some different poses, something that shows your physique, something that shows your shape, something that shows your style, but you don't need 50 face pictures. We know what you look like by the sixth picture. So that's the type of stuff that women do that often messes them up on social media. Just the same pose over and over, uh, because they like their makeup that day. I mean, and if you're just trying to impress other women, or the makeup community, that's perfect. But if you're trying to impress men, they probably want to see more than your ability to arch your eyebrows, or whatever else you're doing. That was a long ass answer for a very short question, and I apologize, but I'm a rambler. That's why I edit my videos. Um, you might say, yeah, because alpha male strategies have a lot of men on his lives about dogging women. Jay Watt, I'm not going to disagree with that. Alpha male strategies is a dog, but he's very proud of that. And you know what? He's not lying about a lot of stuff. It's despicable, some of it, but that's his truth. And until, like, I've watched a couple of his videos because everybody keeps writing me about alpha male strategies. Well, what do you think about alpha male strategies? I think that the brother, I think he represents the anger that men have toward women when they're abused by women, when they're discarded by women, when they're looked over for stupid stuff. He represents the frustration I've felt. Especially when I was in high school. I felt the frustration of being a really nice guy and being looked over for a guy with a car, being a really nice guy and being misunderstood, or being a really nice guy and being accused of wanting to marry someone when I was just trying to date him. Like, oh, he's too serious. And then, some dude that shouldn't even be washing my dirty drawers walks off with the woman I want just because he appears to be a bit more casual. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys go through as much heartbreak and as much disappointment as women. And I don't think that women understand it. For some reason or another, women assume that they're the only ones going through something. Sometimes this is not true. My wife just texted me a couple questions that I missed, and so I'm going to look at these questions and answer these before I get back into this comment section. Jamila Wells says, should you tell a guy that you are bisexual when you first meet him? I would like to know. If I was a guy that you were dating and you was bisexual, I would definitely want to know. But I've had a bad experience. So, my first love left me for a girl. So yeah, I would definitely want to know if you were bisexual. Like I said, uh, some men don't believe in that. You got other people who are, religious. You got people who, like me, have had a bad experience, and so would probably have a bit of pause about dating a woman who's bisexual, not because they're against bisexuals, but because I can't compete with a beautiful woman. Like, I'm handsome, I'm tall, I'm muscular, I'm wise. I got all this other crap going on with me. I can kiss my own ass here all day, but I can't compete with no beautiful woman because I couldn't understand picking a saggy pair of balls over a beautiful woman. Like, women are alluring on a whole new level. I don't even, and maybe it's just because I'm a guy, but I don't understand how guys win over women already. So yeah, I think that if you're concerned with the relationship being genuine, you should probably let a guy know that, hey, I'm bisexual. That's cool. Um, that's not something you want to hide. I'm not sure if it's first date conversation, unless the context just takes you there. It's not like a confessional, but you do want to mention that before that guy catches feelings, because he still has to come from a place of being in the know about the potential for you to, judge and measure people around you. Because if he's on a date and he thinks he's just competing with the guys in the room, and y'all not really together yet, y'all talking, y'all just trying to figure each other out, I don't know. I think he should probably know he's competing with the whole room. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but that might just be my ignorance. But I've been through a very humiliating situation, quite honestly, in high school. So um, I don't think anybody was, I wasn't the laughing stock, but I felt personally humiliated, by your first love leaving you for a woman. You know what I'm saying? So whatever your choices are, I'm completely cool with that. But some guys aren't into that. Every guy's not thinking about the potential threesome that he can have. Some guys are thinking about um, your propensity to be loyal to them. Now, again, my opinions have changed and molded over time as an older, more mature man. I don't really have the pause that I would have had as a kid or as a teenager. But for a while there, I would never have dated a girl who ever looked at another woman just because we you don't want to go through that twice. Especially when you're at the height of your hormonal change and you're in your teens, and you know that's a lot for some guys to handle. So you should probably mention that at least by the second date before he starts to like you and develop feelings. I don't think it will matter though. I don't. Most guys aren't going to stop dating a girl that they like and that they feel like they have a chance with because of that. But everybody has insecurities, and you don't really know what people's insecurities are. And people make light of other people's insecurities, but everyone has them. So there's a difference between having insecurities and being insecure, right? So respecting everyone's potential insecurities, you want to divulge any information that could change the scope of the relationship within the first couple of dates. I'm gonna get to this next question, and then I'm gonna go back to the comment section. Let me see. Okay, I think my wife just sent me this twice. Okay, cool. I think my wife just sent me your question twice, Jamila. All right, let's get back into this. Somebody said, "Do you have 10?" Was I still? I think I was done talking. So yeah. Anyway, alpha male strategies. He has some points. He has some very valid points. He's just sinister. It's just wicked. He's a super villain. But I think that if there were not women doing some of the things out here that they're doing to men, he wouldn't have as big a following as he is. What he has is a lot of nice guys that want to be savages that go over there to learn the game because they're not getting results. He has some savages over there getting some extra pointers, but for the most part, when I go in them comment sections, it's a bunch of mad, sad, depressed, nice guys trying to figure out how to get the results that they want with women, much like you guys or you women come here because you're looking for better results with men. Um, Unfortunately, the manifestation of that energy over there is a lot more sinister. It's a lot more dark. It's a lot more selfish. I come from a place of morals, values, integrity. Respect, self-respect, respect for women. Um, he's trying to build what he calls high-value males, and for him, the methodology is you know ferocious, but he's not actually, he don't tell a whole lot of lies. He knows what he's talking about for men, and he's placating to a particular mindset of men who are looking for a particular type of woman. If you want to avoid the alpha male strategies type, stop trying to have sex with all these men. Stop trying to test drive the car. Y'all not built for that. Not everybody. And if you're running around having sex with a bunch of guys you don't know, then you don't really have a whole heap of shit to complain about when it doesn't work out, because you know that the easiest way to get used for sex is to be having easy sex. So we can pretend like we don't know what to do about that. But if you don't want to be used for sex, don't have sex easy, and that'll at least alleviate 60% of the feeling of bitterness after things fall apart. And you'll avoid the alpha male strategy type of guy who wants sex very quickly and he's going to do anything it takes to get it and get out. Um, Somebody says when he says he doesn't want a relationship, oh, Sarah K, Saraka. I don't know. I don't know. But you always talk to me. Show the fro. You're one of my favorite personalities in the comment section. She said when he says he doesn't want a relationship, but says he misses you, what to do. When a guy says he doesn't want a relationship, he's saying he doesn't want the responsibility of being faithful to you, of considering your feelings and all of his decisions. But he says he misses you. He basically just wants to feel your affection. So if he doesn't want the responsibility, but he wants the affection. He's looking for benefits. That's exactly what it means. So what to do? Do you want to be used for your benefits? Do you want those same benefits? Are you healthy enough to just have a relationship based on sexual benefits? If you're not healthy enough to have a relationship with an ex based on sexual benefits without catching more feelings, then don't do it. If you're healthy enough and detached enough and don't love him enough to be accosted emotionally, then go for it. But in most cases, that's not what's going to happen. If you start laying down with an ex, playing around with an ex, making out with an ex, doing the things that people do when they miss each other, and he still says he doesn't want a relationship, you're just going to be heartbroken all over again. So don't do anything with him. You have to create distance when a person's giving you mixed signals like that because they're dangerous for you. A shout out from Vegas. Okay, Martinez. Missed you. Haven't been on YouTube lately. Anyway, keep up the good job. You're doing your thing. I appreciate it. Somebody say you are the only person I go for relationship advice. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you. The greatest person you will ever meet. You are the greatest person I will ever meet. That's awesome. I love that name. I don't know what these other guys are doing. I don't watch other YouTube relationship people. I just don't. They said if I get enough emails about a particular person, I'll watch a video or two to figure out what's being expressed to me. But for the most part, I'm just not in the ecosystem. Like a lot of you go to if you're in YouTube fitness, you'll watch one fitness YouTuber talk about a thing, and then that week you can't get away from that same topic because everybody's just copying the topic that's the hot topic. And it's like I can't stand that. As a person who watches YouTube, I don't want to go to every YouTuber and see the same damn topic talked about 10 times in one week. I want people to talk about different topics. I want the topics to reflect the personality and the scope of that person's knowledge. And so I appreciate when people say, they watch my channel because I'm not following any of the trends of relationships at all. And so, you're not going to watch 3 or 4 people's channel and then come to my channel. I'm dropping the same video everybody else just dropped. I don't know who's watching me, so I can't say what will come after my videos, but I always try to give y'all what I'm genuinely feeling at the moment. And that's kind of how I'm rocking. So I really appreciate anytime people, people actually recognize that in me because it really does come at a great cost to me. Cause I could put out 4 or 5 videos a week like some of these people, but it would just be content. And again, I'm all about quality. I'm trying to change people's lives for the better. I'm trying to affect the world, and you can't do that just pushing out, shit on the ground, right? You have to give people quality. You have to care about what comes out of your mouth. You have to care about what your spirit is offering the world, and I really do. I really do believe that. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't know how many questions I've covered or not covered. Let me see. We getting back into it. Somebody said I told him he was the ugliest guy I dated. Well, men can't take what they dish out. Usually not. Usually not. Men are easily offended sometimes. They're as fragile as they are cold. So that's something to remember. Somebody said, if a guy spends all of his free time with you and calls you every day, how can you tell when it's time for things to progress into a relationship? I think if a man is spending all his free time with you and calling you every day, you are in a relationship. At least as far as he's concerned, man, ain't no man about to give all his free time to a woman he don't care about. Um, a man tell you he don't want no relationship, but every minute he free, he with you, y'all in a relationship. He just don't want the responsibility of actually being held to a standard. He wants to be able to come and go as he please eventually when he gets bored. But man, if a man's giving you all his free time, maybe y'all need to talk. If that's what something you're concerned with or something you want, y'all might need to have a talk. I think that's the appropriate time to talk when you realize that every minute that you have to spend with yourself, you're looking at him and you breathing his breath in. It's time to talk. It's time to figure that out. Somebody said alpha male is the best. Alpha males, I don't know if you're saying alpha males are the best or alpha male strategy is the best. I think the gentleman is pretty. He's pretty intelligent. He's just not using his powers for good. Um, but like I said, that ain't none of my business. And like I said, the guys that go to over his channel, man, they are as scorned and as broken as some of y'all are. So I don't blame them for wanting to figure out how to get better results for women. And a lot of those guys are going to use that information on one woman that they like, and then they're going to go back to being soft and nice guys once they get the girl. And so a lot of them don't end up being savages. They just use his strategies to get the results. I just don't feel like I could personally give the weapons of war uh, to a person as fragile as that, because that's what they are. They are the weapons of war, And I just don't feel like I would like to. I think it's irresponsible to sometimes expose certain people to certain information. I think you have to be in a good place to receive some of that game. I appreciate you. Somebody said you are so fine and handsome. Hey, listen, I'll allow it. I appreciate you. I love a compliment. Sometimes it get a little bit crazy in the comment section, but for the most part, I love a compliment. Somebody said, no. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure it's a conversation happening outside of what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna let them do their thing. Somebody said, all I ever wanted to be was loved by someone special. This advice shit doesn't work for me. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to stop waiting for it to happen. Sometimes you got to work for it as much as you wish for it. You can want something all you can want something all you want, but I think that preparing yourself for that is as big a part of it. I have a whole heap of fantasies. Shit, I want a BMW 750. I'm working for a BMW 750. I'm preparing myself for a BMW 750. I'm making all the moves necessary to become a person who can drive a BMW 750, right? There are a lot of steps to becoming the person equipped enough to handle the thing that you say you want. Like when I first started my YouTube, I wanted 100,000 subscribers right away. I wanted 10,000. 10,000 would have been a lot if you just started, right? I wanted 10,000 subscribers right away. If I had gotten 10,000 subscribers in my first month, I wouldn't have been able to handle 10,000 subscribers. I wouldn't have been able to handle the volume of questions, the volume of comments. Like I would have squandered that opportunity. I probably would have just moved on from YouTube if I had gotten what I want because I wasn't ready to receive it. I'm sure that you're ready to receive love. You're willing to receive love, but sometimes you got to be willing to do something for it. And I don't know what you're willing to do or not. I'm not blaming you for not being with anybody. I'm just saying all of this advice shit don't work for you clearly because you're not in a relationship. But why aren't you interacting with more people? Is what I would then ask you. What are you supposed to do? Interact with more people. Consider making impressions on people. Approaching men and not like, hey, can I have your number? You so fine, but hey, my name is thus and so. What's your name? What do you do? The simple things like sometimes you got to just be more available. And so I don't know what exactly is going on because I don't have any information about you. But what you're supposed to do is more. Whatever you're doing, it's not enough. Clearly, do more. And I don't mean that in a hasty way, but that's just, sometimes you just have to do more. You really have to go after the things you want in life. They're not always going to come to you. And if a lot of people waiting on God and he's just waiting on them to lift their finger. He's just waiting on them to get off their ass. And I'm not saying that you're on your ass. I'm just saying, sometimes faith without works is dead. Olivia, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She said, thank you for answering my question about a guy spending his free time on you. I've been talking to him for 3 weeks. When is a good time to ask? Probably during the Netflix and I don't know how much chilling y'all doing, so that ain't none of my business. But he said, when is a good time to ask? Probably when everything's calm after a good night. When y'all relaxed. That's a good time. If you express yourself well written, I've seen and received some nice love letters during that period. And not love letters. It can be just an interest letter or a clarification letter. But you have to find a way to start expressing yourself. If you're going to be in a relationship with each other, there has to be an equal exchange of vulnerability at some point. And so this is a test and an opportunity for you guys to learn how to be vulnerable with each other. And I can't tell you exactly what to say or how to say it, but I can tell you that this is a very important part of the relationship. And if you want to start a relationship that's healthy between two people, yourself and him, that can communicate well with each other, this can make you a lot more aware of the communication style he has when it involves him being vulnerable or a heartfelt conversation. But this has to happen at some point. You have to just do it. Because if you skip this part and you just let yourself fall into a relationship and you never really get uh, the genuine conversation, the slow talk that you're looking for, then it could be a cop out for the rest of your relationship with him not expressing his feelings and not being vulnerable with you. And I think sometimes that can make you feel a bit unloved. And so it's important that you find a way to get that out of him now, and you find a way to offer that as well. Emotional honesty is one of the greatest gifts you can give your relationship. And in a new relationship, it's important that you start on that foot and make that the standard. So you can write it down, or you can talk to him after a long day when y'all both too tired to get up and fight about it, or you're too tired to bullshit with each other. Um, Tessa Harris, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She said, "Why are men still holding their love for plus size women? Or why are men still hiding their love for plus size women?" I don't think. Well, I guess some men are hiding their love for plus size women. There's a few different scenarios in which that would be the case, all different. But if you're referring to a man having a plus size woman and then pretending not to have a plus size woman, that's a bit weird. But I've known men to act differently when they have plus size women in public than they are in private. But that has a lot more to do with the gentleman's self-esteem and the perceptions of people around him. Um, for the most part, men don't really hide their. Well, I guess they do. Uh, I can't say I don't hide anything I'm attracted to. So I can't relate to that. But I've seen men who clearly would be attracted to a plus size woman, try to act like they're not. And I've always seen it in juvenile men, like younger men, though. I haven't seen a grown man look at a big fine woman and be like, no, and then be at her. Most of the time, a guy be like, "Yeah, she kind of cool though." You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't gonna give her too much props, but he's not also gonna diminish her. But then there's some suckers out here. There's some horrible small men out here that'll do anything to save face. And I'm not sure what context you're speaking of, Tisa. So I can't speak to it in depth because I don't know where you're coming from and what in particular you're talking about. But some men hide because they're insecure. They hide because they're more afraid of what people might think of them and the reflection of the size of their woman on them than they are about just being genuine and being good to their women. But someone asked me a similar question on Instagram recently. I think I did a post. I said, what should my next video be? Just trying to touch base with people and trying to figure out, what needs I might be missing from people. And there are many because I don't do a lot of videos. But one of them was like, why do guys act differently in public? Why does my man act differently in public with me? Because I'm big than he does when we're in private, and that has a lot to do with the way that he thinks people perceive you. As a guy, he wants everything that you are represents him. Like, so women have obviously become status symbols for men. And unfortunately, some men think that the smaller the woman, the bigger the status, right? Or the more built up a woman is, the bigger the status. And we live in this plastic world where you can't turn on the TV now without seeing an ass injection or a boob job. And listen, I'm not against any of that. I think that if you don't like something, you should change it, and more power to you, yay. But at the same time, it distorts our view of reality. And even those women, if you got a boob job and you got liposuction and fat redistribution, and you got an hourglass shape, and then you put a corset on top of that, and now you running around looking like an actual hourglass, and then a woman comes up with a normal body, normal wear and tear, she feels insignificant, And compared to you with the cartoon figure, she's going to look way more basic than she is if she was in a room full of people who hadn't had anything done. And guys have got in their head that just like a car, a woman is a status symbol. And these are men, these are the types of men who've objectified women past the point of just what they're attracted to. Um, and unfortunately, those people exist. And a lot of times, a man isn't embarrassed to love his woman, but he also wants people to see the beauty that she has, in her. And sometimes, just knowing how shallow the world can be, a man doesn't want people to look at his woman and be like, "What he with her for?" A man wants people to look at his woman and be like, "Man, I get it." Right. And unfortunately, people are shallow. Sometimes they're not going to look at a woman and assume other qualities of her, or they're going to be like, "Oh, she must be nice." No, a guy who loves his woman, thinks she's beautiful. He wants everybody to think she's beautiful. And sometimes, just that need alone in him can cause him to start shifting his energy because he's a bit frustrated. Um, I've known that to be the case. Sometimes it's not malice. Sometimes it's not raw insecurity, but sometimes a man just wants a woman's best from her. He's not looking for a better woman. He's looking for her at her best. And so there are reasons that men do that with plus size women that are, you know, not noble, but not bad. And then there are other reasons where you're just dealing with a small man who just doesn't understand, how he affects his woman or the value, of a woman at all. Um, there's just so much to be said about that, and I don't even think I can fit it into whatever conversation I can pull from my ass right at the moment. But I may do a video about it later because it's something that needs to be talked about. Every man that has an issue or struggles with his woman being plus size isn't a bad guy, and then every time that happens, it's not always an insecurity thing either. But it's something that men have inherently to just they like what they like and they can't stop liking it because you're not it. Um, it's so much to be said about that. So I'm sorry I can't give you the whole rundown on that. Um, Somebody said, Kevin, what if a guy asks what makes you unique? What's a good comeback? Okay, first of all, Bug Nita, she said, Kevin, what? I'm gonna read it again. She said, Kevin, what if a guy asks you what makes you unique? What's a good comeback? A good comeback is something along the lines of you'll find out if I allow you. You'll find out if I'll allow you. You'll find out if I let you stick around long enough. Like you never qualify yourself to a man when he commands you to qualify yourself. None of your damn business is just as good an answer. You'll figure it out if I find you acceptable. The gentleman is trying to make you qualify yourself. He's trying to get. There's probably some shit he got from the alpha male dude, or anybody like him. It's some pickup artist stuff. Ladies, anytime a guy tries to force you to qualify yourself to them, don't don't. It's only a guy. I've never known a guy who was genuine with women who asked a question like that. Like if y'all having a conversation back and forth and you pose the conversation, well, do you have any hidden talents or anything? If y'all talking like that, that's cool. But if a guy's like basically, so why should I date you? Like he's on some kind of game show and you're behind the curtain. Like we don't do that. We ain't kissing nobody's ass for no. Like we ain't doing that. If a guy's telling you or suggesting that you qualify yourself to him, stop calling him. Stop returning his texts. Leave him alone. Let disappear on ghost him until he starts to contact you again. Because what he's trying to do is shift the balance of power. That's a pickup artist tactic. Don't play yourself trying to tell a guy how good you are. Oh, well, I'm unique because I'm a good woman and I cook for my man and give head and I don't give a damn what. Don't do none of that. If a guy, I'm telling you, that's so frustrating, man. I've known women who would sit there and they'll catch that question. They'll be like, "Oh, what's a good comeback?" And then they'll tell a guy all about the stuff that she'll basically do for him, hypothetically speaking, if they was together. Uh, well, if I get a man, this is what I'm gonna do to him. I'm a good. No, the hell with that. Don't worry about it. That's what you tell him. Don't worry about it. Maybe you'll find out. Maybe you won't. And be a bit irritated. Be a bit obviously irritated. Like y'all gotta start y'all gotta start checking these guys on the bullshit when they give it to you, because that dude right there, the what makes you unique, what makes you good enough, that's the same type of guy that you gonna qualify yourself to him, and then you gonna wait for his acceptance, and his acceptance is gonna be some D, and then you're gonna wait for a call, but you're not gonna get it because that's all he wanted to give you in the first place. He just played a mind game with you to get you into a receptive mood to do whatever it took to get his validation. Man, it's frustrating. Anyway, y'all be careful with these guys out here. Some of them ain't shit. Some of them ain't shit. Um, Somebody said, same Dean said, Kev Hick, I have an issue. I love your opinion on. You seem like a level-headed kind of guy, mate. Well, this is all good. Let me know. Oh my God, yes, you done came through. You done came through for a brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. She said, "Happy belated birthday. What's your take on building friendships with as many men as possible through group outings or platonic one-on-one daytime hangouts before doing dating romantically? How long should you hang as friends before dating? Thanks." Well, the context, and I miss you, Yaz. Yaz is one of my favorite people. Yaz, me and Yaz talk on the phone a couple times. Yaz, that's completely dependent on the context of the hangout. So if you're hanging out in a group session and you two are linking up, like, people pair up. You pair up with the person that you are most like, the person that you identify with the most, right? Um, if that's the thing that's happening obviously during these group hangouts, um, then yes, I would assume that. And I don't know how often the group would hang out. I have trouble thinking that a group of adults could hang out so often that that could be multiple times a week. But let's say after two or three of these things where the group's hanging out and y'all kicking it within the group, there's always that. There has to be a pairing. If there's a pairing happening, then after two or three times, then I don't think it's foreign or alien to say, hey, send a text, hey, want to catch a movie or coffee or whatever y'all into, whatever the type of thing that y'all do as a group. It's not bad if you invite the guy that you're already pairing up with in the group session to do that with you alone. I think that's a very, very, very safe thing to do. And if you're already cool, then like I said, I don't believe in trying to save face. Like, I just don't live my life, uh, out of fear. I don't let fear make any decision for me anymore. Yeah, and I guess you can't say that with absolute certainty, but fear should never make you like all of your decisions, right? And so, just eliminating the saving face thing. Yes, if you're hanging out with a person and you're pairing up with him in group sessions after a few outings, you should at least be hanging out with him on a one-on-one basis. And I don't know if you would call that dating, because I don't know what type of dynamic you would have with this person, what type of conversation you're having with this person. But if things are going very well and you two are clicking every time you hang out, a woman and a man, y'all should be moving that to single dates and one-on-one outings after about three or four group outings where things went well. And then after I suppose after you've known somebody for a few weeks to a month and a half, if everything is going well, continue. Like, I wouldn't wait too long, because sometimes what can happen is you're waiting for the perfect time and the perfect time will never come. There's never a perfect time to be vulnerable. There's never a perfect time to make that move professionally, or to make that investment, or we think about all the things we put off. There's never a perfect time, but in particular, with relationships, especially new ones, you can wait and strike out because somebody else is watching that person too. There's always someone else who has their eyes on your target. So if you're hanging out with this person in a group and this person is looking for some kind of validation from you, some kind of sign, and then you're not giving it to them, and there could be another person trying to do that too. So at least stick close to them. But um, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait very long on that at all. Yes. After about three or four outings, if y'all pairing up and y'all clicking, one of y'all needs to make a step and try to make that a one-on-one date next time, and start trying to start that as well. And then come to the group sessions as kind of a pair. I hope that answers your question. But if not, you got my number. Yes, you just text me and we'll talk about this. I'll text you about this. So you text me as soon as you get off of live if I didn't answer your question completely because you know my number. Stacy Hamilton, what's going on, Stacy? I ain't spoke to you in a couple of weeks or maybe a month or so. I know you showed me some love on my birthday. I still haven't replied. Still haven't got to reply to everybody about my birthday, and I think you sent me an Instagram message too. So I appreciate you. She said that was some good advice, bro. Hey, I don't even know what I just said because I talk a lot. People were like, "Hey, you said the greatest thing the other day in this video," and I be like, "Oh, okay," because I don't remember what I say. I really don't. I mean, I write a lot of the video stuff down, but I say so much that I never really know the thing that I said that was impactful. I'm just grateful that they heard something. But I appreciate you and thank you, thank you, Stacy. I needed that because I thought I just rambled on, but somebody got something from it, I guess. Chanel Kyle says, "How important do you think the number of past sex partners is pertaining to women? Do you think it's more or less important than we assume?" No, it depends on the man. For some men, it's very important. For other men, it's not important at all. Um, I can tell you that men who take themselves very seriously usually find it much more important than men who don't really see themselves um, as alpha, uh, and not alpha like alpha male, but like there are men who think that they are the leader, right? The man in charge, like king, the king personality. Let's call it that, for lack of a better term. The king personality once was exclusive, right? He doesn't want to break bread with peasants or be where peasants have gone, right? Um, for instance, and I guess like my type, and not to exalt myself, but I'm the type of person where if I don't respect a woman's choices in men, then I want to exclude myself from dating her. Right? I couldn't possibly date a woman who's dated a bunch of lame dudes in the past because something is broken. Like you clearly have a problem, judging character. So in our relationship, how can I trust your decision or how can I trust your judgment not to move on from me or cheat on me with a lesser man because you've dated lesser men your whole, it doesn't take a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to know that a woman, if you're gonna leave me, you better leave me for a great man. He better be an emperor. If I'm a king, he better be an emperor. I don't want to get left for some dude down the street that doesn't even wash every day, because he has gold teeth, or some guy who's very, very sexual and very, very aggressive, and that's all it takes. And he ain't got nothing else to offer. And that's not insecurity. That's just there are men who need to know that your judgment and your the access to you is a privilege. Uh, and when they don't believe that the access to a woman is a privilege to a great man, then they think that they can be in the company of anyone and share you, and that's scary for some men. Some men don't even think on that level. Some men don't have no, they don't have the no king, no leadership, no, and not to diminish these men. It's just like a beta man, or a whore, man whores. But there are people who don't have the awareness that they take themselves that seriously. They're just different personalities. I take myself very seriously. I want my respect, period. And so it matters to a man that wants his respect. It does not matter to a man who's not obsessive about his respect and his stature. You know what I'm saying? Um, so again, it's not about a weak man or a strong man. It's just about the way that the way that man carries himself and the way that man sees himself. If I see myself as exclusive, as special, as I don't know, royal, right? I want to make sure I'm in the presence of greatness. Uh, and for me, greatness would be exclusivity, right? That's the thing. Rare diamonds are expensive because they're exclusive. Most things in the world that are expensive because they're rare, they're exclusive. The access to them is limited. um, so men who have that concept will care about how many sex partners you've been with. Men who don't care about that sort of thing, which is the other half of the population, won't care at all. They just don't have that same. They just don't care. Some men will date out of the strip club, uh, out of the whorehouse. And it's not because I think they're weak or anything. I just think that they don't have that same concept. That doesn't matter to them, and that's okay. There's someone for everybody out here. But I was just describing for you the type of man that does have a problem with a lot of sex partners from a woman's perspective, or from a man's perspective. Is the type of guy who takes himself very seriously, who holds himself in very high regard, and doesn't want to be mixed in the same groups. He doesn't want to be seen the same as everybody. He wants to be special. He wants to be unique because that's how he sees himself. Some men aren't kissing their own ass. Some men are just not on themselves like that, and so it's a personality trait. And that's it. And no, that first man isn't better than the second man, or vice versa. It's just that we are what we accept. And so some men don't mind identifying with, uh, somebody a little bit more loose sexually. Yeah, and no offense to whoever. Brave Bird. Excuse me, my mouth getting dry. I need to drink some water. Excuse me. Sip, sip, sip. Whatever on my own. All right. Brave Bird, thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. I appreciate you. Brave Bird says, I'm really into a guy. I'm recently divorced and eager for a first date. He invited me for ice cream. Is that a good first date or friend zone-ish? No. Ice cream is a solid first date. Ice cream is quiet enough that you can converse. You can converse with the person. You can get a feel for their personality, their openness, their warmth. If you have anything in common, if you're going to be cool, if you're going to click. Ice cream is cool because it's sweet. Everybody loves sugar. Everybody loves ice cream, and you can kind of get a feel for a person. I don't think that's friend zone-ish. I think that's respectful. I think that a guy inviting you for ice cream is probably going to be much more sincere than a guy inviting you out for drinks. So no, ice cream is solid. That's a good first date. Chanel Kyles, what? I ain't mad at you. Said, or would a man who has changed himself and understands the fundamental of change respect that she may have changed by judging who she is now? That's also true. We can't say everything there is to say about a particular subject, but that's absolutely true. A man who understands the value of reform and the value of redemption and second chances and self-correction and self-improvement and all of those things. If a guy sees that and knows that about you, then he'll judge you differently than a woman who hasn't noticed that in herself. Like even a guy who takes himself seriously, if he knows that a change has occurred or a reform has happened, he will judge you differently than a woman who's actively being promiscuous. Like I said, that's a whole nother context that wasn't introduced into the first question. So that's actually very valuable information. So yeah, if let's say that there's a change in the fundamental way that she sees herself, in the way that she behaves, in the way that she offers herself to men, and that change has happened over time. If expressed or realized by a guy who takes himself more seriously, then yeah, he might judge her differently. What a guy doesn't want is the threat of being mixed with lesser men and in the mess of infidelity and promiscuity, right? That's a mess that most people want to avoid, right? And promiscuity makes a woman less trustworthy, and so it's not about judging her as a whore or shaming her. It's about the fear of that promiscuity not stopping just because she has a title of girlfriend. That's what the biggest concern is. Not knowing if the baby's yours, that type of thing. And so, yeah, if a guy knows that there's a change or a fundamental understanding shift, then yeah, you'll be judged differently. Judging who a woman is now is usually what any mature person will do. But at the same time, who a woman used to be and who she is now aren't always going to be very different from each other. The habits might change, but the person, the character of the person, the intent of the person, the overall essence of the person is the same. We change our habits, but we can hardly ever change our essence. So people change, but we change our practices, we change our habits, we change our methods, but the person is actually very much the same. So as long as that person was good, but the habits were bad, and she got rid of the bad habits, then a mature man can see past that. But if he chooses not to see past that, that doesn't make him a bad man. That just means, you've disqualified yourself on whatever standards that he holds for himself. And I think we in a place now where, we call everything shame, and everything isn't shame. It's just not. People have preferences, and sometimes people don't prefer a person like you or like me. And so it's very important to find somebody that can make peace with whatever sexual experiences or sexual history that you have sooner than later. I, for one, used to know a girl that she was an amazing girl. But again, I always took myself pretty seriously. I took my relationships pretty seriously. And that girl revealed something to me that disturbed me about her sexual past. That I was looking into maybe taking her very seriously. And then when she told me this particular thing, it threw me off so much that I couldn't see myself being with her after that. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I feel about me. It's not that she's diminished, her value is diminished. It was just that I couldn't I couldn't put myself in that position, and I couldn't relate to her in the way I thought I could relate to her before. Um, I think she's very valuable, and she's probably making some guy very, very happy right now. But certain men have their standards, their qualifications, the things that matter to them, and sometimes we get in the habit of shaming men for having standards that seem to exceed our abilities, right? Um, and so just be careful with that. All you can do is be your best, Chanel. All you can do is be your best, or your friend, or whoever we're speaking about. All they can do is be their best, and move and operate in ways that benefit them, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Make improvements if you see fit. Make improvements if you know that past habits are damaging. You got to be honest about that. Be honest with yourself about if these things are good for you, because a lot of people are doing the Amber Rose thing, and it's horrible for them. It's killing them. It's breaking them down, and they're trying to be another woman because she's strong enough to handle that, where they're not. So if the improvements are made, then you may be able to snag yourself a guy who takes himself a bit more seriously. But we don't know. Some guys don't care about a woman's sexual past because they have a sketchy sexual past. I don't have a sketchy sexual past, so that matters to me. But a lot of guys have a very sketchy sexual past, so it really don't matter to them. All right, I think I answered your question. I'm talking for a minute. Told y'all, man, I'd be rambling. I think I gave you something there, though. Something enough to work with. Make sure I answered. I think I answered. I think I answered your question. Yeah. Somebody said, "Go Yaz, bag money, bag money, bag." Yeah, definitely. Yaz came through today. Somebody said, "Why do you guess lie and make up and make? Why do guys lie and make you look stupid while being upset, and get more upset than you and make you look stupid?" I would suppose if you have a tumultuous relationship, that's the type of question that you'd ask. I would then, raise the question of, uh, uh, why are you in such a tumultuous relationship? Um, if make you look stupid is a thing that's happening in a relationship, then I think that shows a bit of immaturity, and I'm not sure on whose part, but we got to do better than that. Because I don't think make look stupid is anything that will come out of my wife's mouth, and she's not gonna make me look stupid. I think that anybody trying to humiliate someone else is just being very juvenile, and I don't think that's indicative of what a really loving relationship is. So it's probably something you want to exit. Somebody said, I treat shorter guys the same. I wear heels because I want to feel like a giant. I'm 5. Okay, I don't know what the hell going on, but I feel you. That's what's up. How do you know a boy likes you? Rhonda, great house. I've done, I think 8 videos on how to tell if a guy likes you, and 8 different scenarios about how to know if a guy likes you, how to know if a guy likes you on the phone, how to know if a guy likes you at work, how to know if a guy likes you through his text message, how to tell if he don't like you through his text message. I can't even remember all the how to tell if a guy likes you videos, and I think one's coming soon because I keep getting the same. I keep getting a very specific version of that same question. And I might have to do a part two of many of these videos because it's still my most popular question: how to tell if a guy likes you. But there are about 8 questions, 8 videos, maybe 9 videos on my channel dedicated to that. So I would look through those, and then I would ask a more particular question the next time you come around, more particular to your situation. I'd be happy to answer. Okay. Somebody says, here's my issue. I'm smart, okay, looking totally capable financially, kind, playful, funny, but I'm crazy. I'm gonna leap out of a helicopter to see what I might leap out of a helicopter to see what happened. Well, I think you're a thrill seeker, but some women can leap out of a helicopter, but still have a difficult conversation without crying. There's a different level. Crazy is interesting because we call a lot of different things crazy, but what feels crazy to a man is emotional instability. So I don't think if you're smart, if you're good looking, if you're capable financially, if you're kind, playful, and fun, uh, those are awesome. If you're a thrill seeker, um, that's not a turnoff. In fact, that can be a turn on for a lot of guys who wish to have more exciting lives. I must have missed somebody's question. My wife is texting me. I did. I'm gonna get you Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers donated $4.99, and I must have missed it during the melee. But yeah, I don't think that you have anything to worry about if your type of crazy is just thrill seeking. When your type of crazy becomes emotional instability, becomes irrationality, becomes the inability to argue or debate constructively, then that's when your type of crazy is a problem. But until then, you can jump out of all the planes you want to, as long as you know how to express yourself appropriately. Hold on, I'm gonna get to Aaron. Aaron Rodgers dropped a super chat, and somehow or another I missed it. I think it was 244.99s up there at the same time, and I didn't realize I didn't read one. She said, Aaron Rodgers, I appreciate your super chat, by the way. She said, how do you flirt? My guy crush told me he had a twin brother, and I told him some parts of Madagascar are considered twins a curse. Need help. How do you flirt with the guy? I'm gonna read this again because it's a different one. My crush told me that he had a twin brother, and I told him some parts of Madagascar are considered twins a curse. I need help. Well, I don't know if you need help. I think you just might not. You might consider not insinuating that he's cursed. Um, that would be a start. If you're ever from Madagascar, I think that's pretty cool. Uh, I don't know if you're from Madagascar. I'm not sure what the context of the conversation was. I didn't know there were a lot of people in Madagascar. Um, I guess I would need a bit more detail about, how that conversation went after you told him that you thought he could be accursed, because maybe he thought it was a joke. Maybe everything was all good, and then you don't have nothing to worry about. But if he was offended, then there's almost nothing you can do to unoffend him at this point, except for show him that you don't think he's accursed. But again, I don't have a context at all about how that works. But what I'll do is in my how to approach a guy video, it'll also have some flirt tips in it as well, and it'll be coming soon enough. The only reason I hadn't really buckled down on doing it yet is because it was just such an unpopular topic when I first released the video. It was like everybody was mad that I insinuated that a woman could ever say hi to a guy first. I don't understand why. But what's funny about that is that a woman understands very, very easily how a guy can approach her and she not feel like she have the upper hand. In fact, she'll go home and she'll hope that he calls. And after 3 days, she'll be mad that he didn't call. And after a week, she'll be fearful that he never calls. But women don't understand that if you make an impression on a guy, get an email address, get a phone number, do the same thing that a guy's going to be sitting at home waiting for you to call to. It goes the same way. Like there's a man is going to be curious because you approached him, just like you're curious because a guy approached you. As long as you're talking right, or just like if he's talking right, you're going to want him to call. He doesn't have the upper hand just because you said hi to him first, or introduce yourself first, or exchange numbers with him first. Like that's not how it works. When a guy gets your number, you're not thinking, oh yeah, he's on my nuts, he's going to call. You're thinking, I hope he calls. If he was talking right and if you thought he was handsome, I hope he calls. And after a couple of days, why didn't he call? I wonder if he's still going to call. And then if he doesn't call after 2 weeks, you're writing me trying to figure out why he got your number and if he's not going to call. Guys go through the same crap. You know how many times a girl has, like I said, I've been approached a lot by women. A woman to get my number. Before I was married, man, a woman to get my number, and I go home and I'm like, man, she was pretty bold. That was pretty cool. Because I like a strong woman. I'm a strong man, so I like a strong woman. So, that signifies strength to me. It doesn't look like easy, it looks like strength. Women's all about, a guy's gonna think you easy if you approach him. No, a guy's gonna think you easy if you give the draws up quick. If you approach a man and you don't give the draws up quick and you don't do nothing sexual for the first few days, he's gonna forget whatever he thought that he knew about you. The only way to be seen as easy is to be easy. Any other thing can be a misconception and it's easily correctable by just not being easy. So anyway, I've been approached a good amount by women who got my number or who just made contact and made the impression and made me feel like they were going to contact me later. And then I found myself waiting by a phone or by a computer for an email or by Facebook for an inbox message. Like, it's the same way. People are people at the end of the day, and people are curious, especially when somebody boldly comes up to them and just makes an impression. And so, yes, women can approach men. It's not for everybody. Every type of woman shouldn't be doing this, and you should not be fragile if you're doing this. You should be confident in who you are, what you have to offer, how you look, and all of that. But uh, just like a man can approach you and make you feel a bit nervous about if he's going to call, a woman can do the same thing, and it's happened to me time and time again. You know, so that's the truth. Every man ain't trying to chase you down. Every man ain't no damn lion. Um, y'all, I don't know who tells y'all this shit, but it's just wrong. People are individuals. There are multiple personalities, and every personality type is different. Stop thinking that every man wants to chase you. I'm the type of guy. If I was single, I ain't chasing a damn thing. I'm not chasing nobody. Nobody. I'm not competing for no woman. I'm not chasing no woman. It's not going to happen. Right. And that was just me. And I'm an alpha male, but I just don't care to chase a woman. I like emotional honesty. I've always liked people just being genuine. I don't have the time to waste. I ain't about to play with you about if I like you or not. We just gonna kick it and we gonna enjoy each other's company until we figure out that we're compatible. That's how I like to move. That's how I've always moved. And so there are a lot of guys like that. Every guy don't want to chase you and play games with you and hope and wish and daydream. Like, we ain't all on that. So um, stop trying to box every guy into whatever experiences you had, because sometimes it's limiting you. A lot of women think that they know what guys want because the first four guys that they encountered or the first four guys that they had relationships with did things this way. So they're expecting their lives to go that way for the rest of the time, and that's just not how it works. And they write me and they ask me what's happening. Nobody's approaching them, and I'm telling them every guy is not going to approach you, and they don't understand why. Life changes, man. People change. People are different. I don't think my wife is. I always got to make sure my wife's not texting me, because when I miss questions, she always makes sure I get them. And I don't see her cussing nobody out today or kicking nobody out the comment section. So people being nice today, maybe because it was my birthday this week. What time is it? All right, we're gonna get back to these questions. Um, I'm at the bottom. What are your thoughts when it comes to the way a woman's physical beauty, such as style and makeup and hair, etc.? Okay, so me personally, Kev Hick, I think that uh, women have different types of beauty. Um, I think that there are many different types of beautiful, and I like. I personally, I find I'm attracted to I like every race of woman for the most part. There are a few I'm not interested in, but I'm not going to speak on it. But for the most part, man, I'm attracted to every type of beauty. And there are so many different types of beauty, and I personally love style. I love when a woman has a nice style and not like fashionista. I'm kind of I find myself if this question is about me, not by men, but by Kevin, what I like. I find myself annoyed by the fashionista type. Um, and maybe because of the celebrity gossip and the other things that kind of go hand in hand with the fashionista type, like, and I'm not trying to box the fashionista type in or but I don't like too much effort. I think that there's a bit of value in and in the basics sometimes. I don't want a woman to always be basic. I like her to have some style. Style is very important, but it's specific to a person's personality. I like style that resembles or identifies a personality, something that's unique to them, not the style. I don't Style to me isn't what everybody else is wearing, right? So there are women who are walking around in red bottoms with a Chanel bag on their shoulder, and they got the I can't name all their fashion houses. That's about all I know, right? But let's say they got the shit on that they doing on the runway, right? And they got $1,000 outfit on, they walking, and they say I got style. To me, that's not style. You're just keeping up with the Joneses. That's not unique. That's just you. That's high fashion. I don't like high fashion. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't like high fashion. Kevin Hickman. I don't like high fashion. I like style. Style doesn't take thousands of dollars. Style just uh, takes some style. You know what I'm saying? Take some taste, a bit of touch of personality. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. I probably like style because I have a very limited style. Like I don't. I've always said I don't got no style, but I don't have to have style. As long as I keep myself in shape, I'm handsome. Yeah, guys got it easy. Some of us, I don't need a beard. Some guys need a beard because they look ridiculous without a beard. You know, I don't need a beard. If I cut my hair off my face, I'm still handsome. If I walk outside in a damn Target t-shirt, I'm still handsome. All I want to do is keep some clean shoes on my feet, and everything else can be fine. As long as I look like I took a shower, I'm the handsome guy. And that's just how I feel. Right or wrong, that's how I feel. Uh, so as far as a woman's physical appearance and style, a woman should accentuate her figure. I don't like when women try to go against the grain. Listen, big women are beautiful, but don't be coming out with no. If you a big woman, don't come outside with no little woman's clothes on. We're gonna have to act like we know. So that's just my thing. I like when women dress for their figure and manipulate that. Like you have to know that because tacky is a thing. And makeup. I'm not a big makeup guy. Um, I like makeup. I like what it can do, but I love when a woman is just like when I used to work. I used to work as a bagger at a store called Kroger's. We got up north. I think they nationwide now. Probably, most people have a Kroger's. But yeah, I used to love when the women came in with the hair wraps, sweatpants, no makeup. Man, that was a beautiful day. Like I love Saturdays when everybody was waking up. Probably went to the club the night before. They did all the dressing up they feel like doing, and then all the women would come in with their little sweatpants on, the t-shirt or a wife beater, and the damn hair tied. That was my favorite day of the week because you got to see everybody at their best, just at in their most natural, beautiful state. And I think that a woman is beautiful for a lot of reasons. Beyond her physical appearance, and sometimes you can just look and see a woman's spirit, man. And so I want to see a woman in her nature. And so style for me and makeup for me should be minimal. Um, and I don't give a damn what they do with their hair. I like natural hair. I see a woman with an afro. Sometimes my heart warms. I don't know. I like all types of beauty, man, and all types of styles. I just like people to do what's best for them and don't try to be nobody else as far as the style. Stop trying to mimic this race of women or that race of women or this class of people or that class of people. I want people to be true to who they are. And that's part of the reason why I'm growing my hair out. I'm tired of assimilating. I ain't going to work trying to make everybody feel comfortable with having a big tall brother everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my natural thing for a while and then get me some locks. But that's me rebelling against the system. But everybody should do their thing, man. That was a long ass answer to a very short question. So again, I apologize, but we discussing things here. Let me see. I'm trying to find it's a lot of conversations going on. I think it's a lot of conversations. Somebody said, "Hey, Kev, happy belated birthday. I appreciate it. Thank you." So much for answering my question during the last live. I have another question. How do you get over your ex, aka my first love? Distance, silence, radio silence, distance, and new hobbies. You got to find a new life. You gotta create a new routine. that resembles a new life. Sometimes people have trouble breaking out of the funk of old relationships because they keep their routines exactly the same as they were. They still encounter that person, which can be very, very toxic. But even if they're not encountering that person, to do everything the way that you did it before your relationship can feel weird because it feels like something's missing from that routine. But if you change your whole routine for first few days, first few weeks, it feels foreign. But it'll feel like a new life in hindsight when you look back at it, because you'll have a whole new system of living and a whole new way of moving. And so I always suggest to people that they get a new hobby, try something that they haven't tried before that they maybe wanted to. Stick that smack in the middle of their day or in the middle of their free time. And so when they would normally have these 4 hours or 3 hours to daydream about missing this person, they have a challenge that requires thought from them that they haven't mastered. The problem with a lot of people is they can do everything they do every day with their eyes closed because they've been doing it for so long. If you pick up a task that requires more thought than usual, sometimes you can distract yourself long enough um, that the feelings eventually fade, and that when you run out of distractions, you don't have to deal with the same amount and same intensity of pain that you would have had you not had anything to do but sit in a dark room and think about this person that you miss. And also remember why you broke up in the first place. If you got to do this, I think it's very healthy and positive to write everything bad about that person down. Everything that you could just brainstorm about all the crap that you put up with while you was with them, and don't put nothing good on it. Just write down all the crap that they put you through, and you read that every day if you got to, just to remind yourself of what you're escaping, because sometimes we remember things more favorably than they were when we're looking back on them. Well, now, sometimes that's scientifically proven. Everybody remembers things more favorably than they were, unless it was a traumatic experience. But if it didn't leave you traumatized or with some kind of PTSD, you always remember things a bit more favorably. And so the thing is, you got to remind yourself of why you're out of the relationship in the first place. The crap they put you through, the emotions that you felt, the security issues that you had. You have to remind yourself of that. So brainstorm, put it on the paper. You got to stick it on your TV. Like, put it somewhere you're gonna see it every day, and that way you always remember about how you dodged the bullet and why you're doing better now that they're gone. That's what I would start with. If you can't get over them after a few months, you need to get yourself some counseling. Somebody said, so instead of being nice to men, should we be a little bit of a smart ass? I don't know why I blocked that. I guess you said ass. No, I don't know. No, I don't think that. I don't think that, and I don't know if maybe y'all talking to each other, but I don't think that you should be inherently mean or nasty to men either. I think that you should deal with every guy as an individual. Some guys deserve to be treated with some distance and some callous, some coldness, and you approach that bridge when you get to it. But to blanket to kind of generally treat every man the same is silly. It's almost like it would be as dumb as treating every woman the same as a man. Women are different from each other. You can't just approach every woman the same. Some women respond to the dumbest stuff, and some other women will feel disrespected if I came up on, yo, Ma, you looking sexy today. What's up with you? A grown woman is gonna be like, man, if you don't get your ass out of my face, man, get out of my face. What are you, 12? But it's some women right now. If I was a scoundrel, I can go up to them, hey, Ma, you looking sexy right now. What's up? And she's like, oh my God, what's your name? Like, some women are simple. They are simple. And some men are as simple, right, and as small. So um, never treat people. Never. You have to treat people like individuals. Uh, that's just across the board. So don't try to treat men like crap because it seems like a good tactic, because it'll just hurt you as much as being too nice to men will. Hey, I can dig it. Christine O, enjoy your night's rest. I'm not mad at that. Somebody said, I love to listen to you, but I gotta get up early for work. Somebody got work early on Sunday. I feel for you. It might be Monday where you from though. A lot of people I talk to are in other countries. The next day when I'm talking to them in our country. Vivian, what's going on, Vivian? Again, she said, how detrimental is it to hate being approached by men, even the ones you would be interested in? I feel like a prey. I hate the feeling of it. I think that in talking to you, I have more because I've spoken to you numerous times. I have more context. But you gave enough context in this question. I can tell you, um, it's extremely detrimental. Detrimental, uh, especially if these guys are approaching you and they are saying the right things and being respectful. And just because they're approaching you, you feel like prey. That says more about your insecurities than it does their propensity to be a danger to you. And you can miss out on a lot of great people, a lot of great relationships, or the man of your dreams just being funny about the particulars about how you met a guy. Some people have to meet people in a situation where they see them every day and they have to warm up to them over time. That's a thing. A lot of guys don't. That's why a lot of guys don't approach women because they rather date at their jobs or at school or somewhere where they can get comfortable with the idea of talking to the woman first, because they're just afraid of rejection and this and so. But if a man approaches you and you feel like prey just because a man approached you, then that might be a bit unhealthy. And I'm not sure uh, why you would feel so off put by a guy being interested in you. But if you're looking for love, that's going to get in your way. That's definitely going to get in your way. And it's something that you can't change in people because if you're beautiful and men are approaching you, you can't make people unsee you. I think I might have told you already today. Greatness doesn't go unnoticed. Um, you can't be great. You can't be beautiful. You can't be high value and go unnoticed. And if you are looking to be unnoticed, then you need to make a better effort at being mediocre. And until you become mediocre, whether that be at dance or in your looks or anything else, your style, regardless, or your demeanor. Until you become mediocre, you're going to be noticed. And I would never advocate for somebody to dim their light uh, to pacify their own insecurities. I think that you need to face your insecurities and learn to toughen up a bit because you have a lot to offer, and because people recognize it. Um, you're always going to have the attention that you seem to be avoiding. But that's a challenge for you, and that's something that you have to grow into. But I would never avoid being better, I would never attempt to dim my light because I'm afraid of the consequences of people noticing you. But again, we'll talk. Good question though. But yeah, it's very detrimental. Very detrimental. It's bad for you. I would advise you to not be that way. As much as you can, not be that way. Um, Bye. You're doing well, Kevin. Had to say hi to your lady. Say hi to your lady. Will do, Angela Bristol. You have a wonderful night. I know it's late. Man, it's 105 Eastern. Uh, I know it's not that late in Cali though. That's why I hang out for a minute because I know on the West Coast there's still a lot of people that want to talk to me, and you know, I'm on the East Coast, so it's late over here, but people just getting home in Cali. How do we do good guys on a dating site? How do we know good guys on a dating site from bad ones? I don't think you know. I don't think you can look at a dating profile and tell a good guy from a bad one. Bad guys be saying shit like, "I'm looking for a relationship, only serious relationships. Need DM me." They say all kind of crap, and they just want to hit it. So you're gonna have to really talk to a guy, and that's why I always advocate that you talk on the phone instead of texting a guy, because if you're texting a guy, then you're creating the reality uh, that's happening. Like a guy, you're not getting to know a guy, you're getting to know your fantasy of him. And so, even though a phone doesn't give you everything that you need, you still need to at least hear a guy's his speech patterns, his tones, his cadences. You need to get the genuine, in real time response to your questions, because if you're just texting a guy that you met on a website You can't tell from his profile if he's a good guy. And if you're just texting him, you can't tell from his responses if they're genuine or if he means what he says, because he has 10 minutes, an hour, all day to think of the perfect response and give you the response he knows you want to hear based on the tone of your question, not based on where he actually is mentally. So it can be very, very misleading because people create a character. Their writing character is different from their speaking character. And the speaking character is more accurate a depiction of who they are. Not the whole depiction. You still need to meet people in person, feel their energy in person. But that's why texting is so dangerous, because you're just getting the character, the writer's version of a person, the director's cut. Angela Bristol said, "I wish you answered my question." Did my wife? I wonder if my wife didn't see a question. I don't think my wife probably went to sleep. If I see your question, let me look for your question. I'll check back later to see if you answered it. Okay, I got you, Angela Briscoe, right here. You said, "How can you have a successful relationship with the love avoidant?" You can't. If a person is love avoidant, then they have a wall up that you're not going to be able to break through their wall. You can't want to love someone who doesn't want to be loved and doesn't want to offer love. So you can't have a successful relationship. You can have a lonely relationship with them. You can still force a person who's love avoidant into a relationship, but you can't have a successful relationship. It's only successful if you tolerate being unloved or being uncared for or being unnurtured. Angela Bristol, great question, but it's a short answer because you just can't. There's no successful relationship from the love avoidant, and the person has to grow out of that place to offer real love to a person. Now you can go to sleep, whatever you got to do. Somebody said it was our second date and he hasn't kissed me. He seems very interested in me though, and he always wants to see me. Any reason he won't make the move? Yes, I only kissed women I absolutely liked on the third date or later. That was just how I moved, and it was just because I never wanted it to be confused what I was doing and what I was building with them. And I also wanted to see if they were mature enough to understand that and see my value. See, a lot of times a woman will assume that a guy is either not interested in him or putting him in a friend zone because he hasn't made a move on him. If your measure of a man is how quick he's trying to jump on you, then you might have a skewed perception of masculinity, and you're more likely to be used for those types of gratification benefits than another woman. You have to be patient. Some guys are very, very aware of their sexual energy and how they use it or misuse it. And like I personally, I'm not going to make out with a girl that I don't plan on being in a relationship with. Y'all always ask how to tell if a guy likes you. It depends on the type of guy. But if a guy takes himself very seriously and a guy is serious about the next woman that he calls his girlfriend, a guy is not rushing a kiss, because I'm not going to kiss a girl. Because if I start kissing a girl, then that means I like her. Usually I already know if a woman likes me. But if I start kissing her, then that means I like her. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm giving her a false hope if I'm not sure about her. So sometimes guys use that as a barometer. If a guy is kissing you or making out with you on the first date, then that means he don't know if he want to be with you. Like everybody knows on the first date, they're not trying to be in a relationship. You're still trying to figure each other out. So everybody's so used to making out and kissing on the first date. And that's cool if you into that. You're trying to have a good time on top of a good time. I get it. But nobody's serious about making out with somebody on the first date because they want to be in a relationship. They're just making out because they think that's what you're supposed to do on a first date. Well, we gotta have some icing on top of the cake. We gotta have some fun. We grown. So everybody wants some kind of form of gratification. I get it, but that's not how I move, and that's not how a lot of guys move. I didn't kiss my wife until the third date. And I knew going into it by the third date, if I liked her, I was going to kiss her, and we was going to be out at that point. I was going to make her my woman, and I was going to chase her in that way. But until I kiss a girl, I don't owe her anything. But when I start making out with a woman, I think I start owing her an explanation of what my intentions are. And some guys take that very seriously. So if a guy hasn't kissed you on the first date or the second date, you don't just discard him because you think that you're in the friend zone. Like that is I don't know who tells you that you women that's the only way to see if a guy likes you or if a guy's a real man or if he's masculine is that if he's trying to jump your bones. Y'all have to realize that some men operate from a different standard and have a different level of patience and are after something completely different. Um, I would never kiss a girl that I liked or that I didn't like or wasn't sure about because I don't need her to be sure about me and I'm not sure about her because now I have to hurt her feelings. Okay, and any guy who's had his options or who isn't desperate for love, who can wait, is going to make sure if he's responsible that he only gives the impression that he wants more from women he wants more from. But again, that's just me. And I guess it's a lot of guys. Everybody I know is serious about the moves they make with women around them, and that's just them the type of people I hang with. Men of character. I'm a man of character. And there are men of character everywhere. Y'all keep talking about it ain't no good men. There's a lot of good men, but y'all don't know how to measure a good man. Y'all don't. Y'all many of y'all, and not everybody, but many of y'all don't know what a good man looks like. And so when you're not getting kissed or made out or touched or one girl complained, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. One girl complained to me that I didn't put my fingers on her or in her at the movies on our first date when I was 18, that was a real conversation I had to have with a girl. Well, I didn't think you liked me because you didn't try nothing in the movies. I don't know who taught her about men, who had the conversation with her that this is what a guy does when he likes you. But I wish I could say, and after talking to these women in my inbox for 2 years, that I didn't think other women thought this, but it's become unfortunately very apparent to me that a lot of women have this same concept that a man's interest is always indicated with his sexual advances. It's not. Y'all gotta rein it in and get a realistic expectation of what masculinity is. Get a real perspective. I guess it ain't enough men sharing these types of things. But trust me, if a guy ain't kissed you on a second date, it don't mean he don't like you. It just means he needs to be sure before he gives himself the responsibility of explaining anything to you. Um, so third date, fourth date for very, very patient men who are kind of unaware of themselves. Shy guys sometimes, but I think he was still in the game if he's spending all his time with you and keep trying to make dates with you. Again, another long ass 10-minute answer for what probably could have been answered in 40 seconds. Somebody said my boyfriend works too much and doesn't have time for me. Should I feel some type of way? It depends on how much he needs to work. Like, is he working because he wants to or because he has to? That depends. How broke is he? How desperate is he for money? What are his goals? What is he doing with the money? If your boyfriend, let's say, for instance, Desiree Crawford, if your boyfriend works doubles every day, right, and then he's coming home and he's buying weed and video games with the extra money he gets, then yes, you should feel some type of way. But if your boyfriend's working and overworking and he's barely scraping by, he's trying to keep his lights on, then no, you really don't have no right to feel that type of way because the brother needs lights. He needs to eat, right? So I guess there's a difference. If he's blowing money and he's working a lot, then yeah, I would feel the type of way because he's not prioritizing. He's not prioritizing you. He's not prioritizing his bills. He's not prioritizing saving. There's a lot of issues there. But if he's working because he has to survive, and it's just that he has a job that doesn't cover his needs, then that's just the fact of life. Now you can still decide that that's not enough for you, or that you need more. That's completely within your rights. But I wouldn't feel some type of way about it. I would just decide that maybe that was not sustainable for me if I was you. Vanessa Harris, hey Vanessa, she said happy birthday, Kevin. It's counseling session time again. I'll schedule soon. Hey, I would love to talk to Vanessa. I was thinking about you today. I was like, I ain't talked to Vanessa in a while. I hope she's doing all right. I know you got a lot to talk about. I get with you. Like I said, you already know how to hit me up. Just text me and let me know when you're thinking about it. It's all good. Uh, yeah. See, the people who I talk to on the phone, I usually continue to talk to through text messages to make sure that things are going well for them. So they get a new level of access to me just because they support me. I want to be there to support them through the issues. That after we talk, I want to make sure that things are going well. So everybody who's talked to me has access to me after they talk to me. Let's see. I got some more questions. Look at this. Boy, it's late. I'm just on here. Kim Sikorsky says, man, I might have get that. I might have got that right. She says, what if he spends a lot of time with you and never actually takes you out on a date, but you're with him every weekend at his house, and during the week he says he has problems being around people? Well, you clearly the person he prefers, and he might have a real social anxiety. But again, if you have standards, it's best to set your standards for a relationship early. If you require going out in public, like that's something that you have to feel uh, satiated in a relationship, then you need to make sure that that becomes a thing that he understands he has to provide at least occasionally, and you can set that occasional rate or amount. But what we don't want to do, anyone, is go into a relationship not getting the things we need, hoping they change later, because they don't. If you don't set the standards early, then that becomes the standards, and that becomes the burden that you carry for the rest of that relationship. You look at somebody after being with them for 4 months and be like, you don't ever take me out. They were like, I never took you out. What are you talking about? Are you like, you work too much? They were like, I worked too much when you met me. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? You never tell me you love me. I never told you that. I was never mushy with you. What are you talking about? You've got with a person and you've hoped they to develop the standards that you have, but you never required it. So you got to make sure that that's going to satiate you in the future, because a man who sits at home and wants to watch movies every day might not. And like I said, I talk to a lot of women who put up with stuff, and it's not like a guy's giving them crap, but he's a certain way, and they put up with it because they hope that he changes, and they're so into him that they're so excited to be with him that they forget that they have these things that they need, because they're being satiated by their fantasy being fulfilled. But once the fantasy fades and the reality hits that this is the person I'm with now, and you're sitting in the house every weekend not getting no damn sunlight, you're looking all pale because you ain't went outside in 4 weeks because you're watching Netflix every day with this person, you start to feel like, wait, maybe I need somebody else. A lot of them go out and cheat with more exciting men at that point, but you were committed to the boring guy. He's been boring the whole time. He didn't just get boring. He was always boring, but you decided that wasn't enough for you. So I think it's fair for everybody to make sure they start that standard stuff early. It's crazy. The later it gets, the more people show up to the chat. I don't know what's going on. And probably, I bet that fight over. Well, y'all ain't watching that damn fight. Somebody say, is it normal for a man to have a higher? It's normal for a man to have a higher sex drive, though. It's just nature. Yeah, it's absolutely normal for a man to have a higher sex drive, but I don't know what conversation they're having, but it's absolutely normal for a man to have a higher sex drive. But women often have higher sex drives, so that's not absolute. It's just, it happens for the most part. Let me see. Somebody said, "Are you a Scorpio?" I think they're talking to me. No, I'm a Libra. My birthday was Wednesday. I'm an October 10th Libra. Somebody said, I'm in constant contact via phone with the guy. We both expressed that we like each other and want to get to know each other more, but he doesn't ask me out. Should I say something? Yeah, I think if you're in constant contact with somebody and they're taking up a space of time or a block of time in your life, you can save face if you want to and not ask them, but who has that much time to waste to be giving somebody there every day and not knowing where things are going? I don't believe in that. I know that maybe another relationship person, and I don't call myself a guru. I'm a guy who has a lot of opinions and a perspective, and I have a good amount of experience in this type of stuff. So I'm not a guru or an expert. I'm just a person who is sharing my perspective, my paradigm, my love paradigm with you guys. And I don't think that I'm just not for saving face as much as I am saving time. Man, you can save so much time if you just stop trying to look a certain way and just start being real and honest. And so that's just where I come from, man. That's what I be believing. So I think that you should say something if you find yourself unsatiated or unfulfilled or in limbo about where y'all at, and you giving this man all your time. If a man ain't giving you his time and you ain't giving him yours, then yeah, y'all don't owe each other that talk. But if a man's expecting to hear from you before he goes to bed every night, he's expecting to hear from you when he wakes up in the morning and expecting to hear from you on his lunch break, now you obligated to keep up with this guy like y'all together, and the motherfucker won't even ask you out, y'all got a problem. And sorry for the F word. I know y'all Christian folk be mad. It's my sin, not y'all's. Cool. I've been making sure my wife wasn't texting me somebody's questions. Sometimes I would miss too many questions. As I said, she always hit me up. Where does a woman meet a serious man? Everywhere. Serious men are everywhere. The problem is you're waiting for the perfect serious man to approach you, and so many things have to go right for that to happen. And then a lot of women have a lot of hangups. I don't want to date online, and I'm not going to approach a man. Well, you just cut out 70% of the chance that you had to meet a new person. Good luck. I don't think that women should have to approach men for men. But if you see a man that makes you that you're interested in, it's the difference. You're not approaching. That's exactly what it is. You're not approaching men for men. Like we're like, oh, well, we got to do that for them too. No. If you see a man that you find worthy, wholly acceptable, and good enough, right? A good man. If you see a good man and you just happen to notice him before he notices your goodness, and you approach him, you introduce yourself to him. Um, you get his Facebook or his Instagram, or you DM him first, or you friend request him first, or however the initial impression is made. You leave a comment on his picture first, or whatever. You didn't do that for him. You did that for you. You seen a quality man and you made a move. You got one life to live, and you can live your life trying to be right, or you can live your life trying to be happy. Right? We can all agree. Somebody agree. I don't think we all, but somebody will agree with you that you should never have to approach a man. They will give you praise hands, emojis, and all types of stuff. But you'll be single. Hypothetically speaking, you will be single if you avoid every responsibility applied to meeting new people just because if you think a man just supposed to do that for you. And people will applaud you. Real women doesn't so. And they single and you single. Y'all can give each other all the praise hands emojis, the prayer hands emojis, the high five emojis, whatever you want to call it. But at some point, being happy has to trump being right, or saving face. At some point, you have to make the decision that's going to be healthier and better for your life and more conducive to the results you want, not the impression you want. We can all make a certain impression on people that we don't care, we don't need them, or we're a real lady, or we're a real man. We can make those impressions, but those impressions should only come as a result of us making decisions conducive to the results we want. I'd rather get results than make impressions on people. Um, and that's just me. I used to have a friend. I used to always tell me, I'd rather be rich than look rich, and you know, I would rather benefit from my deeds than look like I don't need the benefit. And so that's just where I'm at with that. Any Capricorn here? Any Capricorns in here? My bestie, a Libra. My wife is a Capricorn. Nika 46. She's in here, the other room, watching something. My wife done deleted a comment. I don't know what you had to say for my wife to delete you. She's so nice. I don't know what you had to say for her to delete you. You probably called me an M word, because that's usually the only time she delete people is when they get in here with that racist stuff. Probably gonna block you. Anyway, somebody said, I went overseas to meet someone I thought I had a connection with. He made it clear he is busy with work and doesn't need the distractions of a relationship. We got along good, but no contact now. Yeah, sometimes you got to get clarity before you damn sure go overseas to visit somebody. You done spent thousands of dollars to visit somebody who was playing games? Yeah, that ain't no good. That ain't no good at all. I'm sorry to hear that. But you got to get clarification. I think that you might have went over there based on what you wanted to occur, based on your fantasy. But I don't think that I'm wondering if that person gave you the impression that when you got there it was going to be, this fairy tale, because sometimes we can trick ourselves out of our own position. Somebody said, is it a bad idea to admit having romantic feelings for a friend that I've had for many years? It depends on your dynamic. Some people have very honest relationships with their friends, and some people have filtered relationships with their friends. And if you and your friend have always been honest, then they probably already know anyway. If you and your friend have always been emotionally genuine with each other, then they probably already know that you have these feelings. There's a feeling that you get when somebody cares for you differently, and they're probably already a bit more aware of it than you know and than you think they are. Um, that's a very difficult conversation though, because if you're confessing this, the question then becomes if it's mutual. Um, and in many cases, most likely it's not if you have no idea how this is going to be received. So that's very difficult because either they're very good at hiding it, like you are, or you both know each other likes each other. Even so, if you're real friends and that person really cares for you and really loves you, um, it shouldn't eliminate the relationship if it's not reciprocated, if the romantic feelings are not um, shared. It shouldn't eliminate the relationship. So I believe in emotional honesty. If I was in your position, I would say something. You definitely don't want to wing that conversation. You might want to write your points down, speak slowly, do it on the phone so you don't get too flustered. Um, don't so any awkward moments are avoided that will cause some distance. But just don't wing that conversation. Know exactly what you want to say and how you want to say it. Rehearse that a bit, because the last thing you want to do is get yourself flustered, wing it, and then not say everything that you need to say because this is your one confessional. And when it happens, if you don't get the reception that you want, you're gonna wish you said more, or you're gonna wish you said less. So just make sure you know exactly what you want to share before you have that conversation. But I think it can be necessary. Mm, good gracious. Let me see if I can report user. I'm sorry, I gotta report somebody. Yeah, there we go. I'm reporting. Got it. Look at me snitching. Bet on. Yeah, somebody. I don't know, man. Every once in a while you get some haters in the comment section, and man, I don't. That just does not bother me at all. But I don't like them. I don't want the distraction. It's just a distraction, like somebody talking in class. I'm like, shut the hell up. I can't hear. Um, Let me see. Whatever she want. Uh, what? I don't know what you talking about. Man, see what I'm saying? People, it gets distracting. These comments are a little bit tough sometimes. Somebody said I was okay with being friends, but I don't even know if he wants that. Um, well, sometimes it be like that. Life is difficult in that way. The hard ones with the hard ones, but sometimes people don't want us. Why did he flip out about my faults when I called him out on his lying vibes I felt? I think sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it. If you call a man out, you have to be tactful. You have to know your audience. And some men don't handle criticism well, and sometimes women don't present criticism well. So that you could have had a concoction of the worst of both of those worlds, where you present something the way you say it, called him out, implies that maybe you were a bit aggressive, or you kept it real in a way that was a bit um, too abrasive. And if he didn't, you said if he flipped out, then you probably said something that offended him a great deal, and he probably doesn't handle criticism well, and you probably don't present criticism well. If I had to guess, a good thing to do is try to use I language when you're criticizing someone. Try not to accuse people, avoid charge words, stay away from absolutes. You always or you never. Those are considered charged words. Use words like I feel, in my observation, in my perspective, this is what's going on. But when you say you always this, you always that, accusatory language always usually elicits some resentment and some defense. A kind word turns away wrath. So keep that in mind. Google I language and conflict management. See if that doesn't help you. Try to get some of those concepts in your mind and in your psyche before you start these difficult conversations where you want to call somebody out. Because usually, if done wrong, it can ruin a relationship that really has some potential. But two people have to learn to communicate differences and issues with each other. Uh, and that's just for any healthy relationship, friendship, family relationship. You just have to learn how to talk to people when you're upset and when you're displeased with them. Um, Somebody said your wife is beautiful. I appreciate it. She is. She's absolutely beautiful. I don't know. People be wanting to see my wife all the time, and some people like want me to post more kids pictures and stuff like that. Man, I'm just not big on that because like if I get some interesting personalities, and I'm not above being stalked or anything like that. And also I've gotten enough nasty comments that I know that there are certain types of nasty comments that would make me want to get in my damn car and let somebody smell my cologne. Like, and you can say whatever you want about me, but there's certain things that I don't even want to get used to tolerating on behalf of my family. And I have a beautiful family, but I don't feel compelled to share my family. This is like I'm sharing my gift. Uh, I'm charismatic. I'm open. I'm friendly. I'm the type of person I'd be at the grocery store. I make friends at the grocery store. My wife laughs at me. People just randomly come up and talk to me. I must have a friendly spirit or a friendly face or something. I don't know. Even when I think I'm looking mean, people still come up and talk to me. When I'm feeling mad, when I'm like irritated and I want people to get away from me, people are still drawn to me. That's my gift. My wife has different gifts. She's not talking to 250 people at a time. Gift That's not her gift. She has different gifts. You know what I'm saying? So people would think that every time you see a couple supposed to be on YouTube together. My wife will probably be on camera one day, but she's doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? And she's discovering what her gifts are as well as me. But these are the gifts that I know I have, and she's exploring different gifts. And so I would never require her to operate in my gift because it would just put her in an awkward position. And I'm also not in a hurry to share my family with the world just because people say horrible things and I can take horrible things from me. I don't really care what people say about me because ain't nobody saying it in my face. Man, I have never been approached with no bullshit. Like people treat me with respect when they see me. But people on the internet, they think you got that keyboard courage. People say anything. And like I said, people would diminish me. They call me whatever, but when people start saying types of things, stuff about my family, I take it a bit more seriously. And like I said, I'm not above going to visit somebody. Like I think that people get it messed up that a nice guy is nice to everyone. No, nice guy is nice to the woman he loves, and he's nice to his family. A nice guy will hurt somebody about his family. A real man will hurt somebody about his family. We gonna by any means necessary gonna protect my family. And so I'm not gonna make no habit out of exposing my family and putting them out there because if somebody violated, uh, I'm gonna make sure that we rectify the situation, and I'm not above violence. So that's why I don't put my wife and kids and all my business out there because I'm not above doing something about somebody getting out of line. Don't be looking at my nose. All right, let's get into these questions. It disappeared. Okay. Somebody said if there's no problem, you're not serious, and then take fun. I don't know what they're talking about. Somebody said Jay Watt. That's a good question. I want to know what Jay Watt asked. Yo. Somebody said I had to ask you about my boyfriend a couple months ago. He's in jail, and I'm continuously catching him in lies. He's writing other women, calling them, and using me more and more. Well, a lot of times, Jalen, men in jail do that. You would assume that a man in jail would be so faithful. He ain't got nothing going on in jail but a bunch of other men, so he gonna be wanting to call his baby and be with his baby exclusively, but that's not the case. You need as much commissary as possible. You need as many JPEG JPay messages is possible. That's the little email system they give prisoners now, so they can text and make correspondence out to the public. You can send electronic messages to them, and so they need as much commissary money on their books, cigarettes, and all type of noodles or whatever gives a person in prison peace, quiet, peace of mind, resources, status. Damn carton of cigarettes gives you some status in prison. You know what I'm saying? It's different. So you gotta think, man, if a guy's in prison and he wasn't super in love with you, he wasn't super committed to you before he went to prison, and all of a sudden he get to prison and now he's sure he want to be with you, it's because you have something to offer him that he can't get anywhere else but from the outside. He can't get commissary, he can't get money on his books, he can't get resources, gifts, all of that stuff matters in prison. That's like currency, deodorant, cigarettes, noodles, uh, candy bars, snacks. That shit is currency. That's money in prison. And so, you know, uh, I got some family members that been in prison a couple times. I've had to go through it. You know what I'm saying? I got a family member in prison now. I'm gonna have to send them something. So I just know that the players I know that go to prison, they don't stop because they in prison. They actually get a bit better at it and a bit more crafty because they need the women a bit more in prison than they do when they're free men. And so that's not to say every man in prison is a dog. That's just to say you have to be very careful. And if your boyfriend is having you send him a bunch of crap and then he's calling a bunch of other women, all of y'all just sending him crap. That's all y'all doing. It's just everybody sending him a little bit of something. He's getting his status, but he's also getting his peace of mind. You don't get a whole lot of snacks in prison, so it's a hard place to be. I'm not speaking from experience, but I'm aware that it's a very hard place to be. It's a hard life to live. So men will do what somebody said, jails are made for people who rape children. Yes, but they're also made for people who commit traffic offenses and can't afford to pay the tickets. It's also meant for people who get into fistfights trying to defend their wives. It's also meant for people who miscalculated their taxes or refused to pay an extra couple of $100s. You can end up in jail any day of the week for some bullshit. And I know that for a fact. I ain't been to jail, but I remember my cousin got pulled out of my car. I was on the way to church. I was taking my cousin to church, and he had a Bible on his lap. They pulled us over. They said I rode a stop sign, which I didn't. I seen them following me. You do everything right when the police are following you. They followed me for 2 blocks. I did not roll the stop sign. I stopped completely. Then they said I didn't turn my turn signal on. They were following me for 2 blocks. I did everything right because I knew they were right behind me. They still pulled us over. They pulled my cousin out the car and took him to jail with his Bible and kept him down there for 3 days. When I went to his court appearance, they pulled him out of my car because he had jaywalked. He had a jaywalking ticket, and they put my cousin in jail for a jaywalking ticket. So you can end up in jail for any dumb shit. So yes, they didn't show your comment because you said the word rape in it and children together, which is horrible. But yeah, you can end up in jail for some dumb shit. So yeah, it's made for rapists, but it's also made for people who the government systematically targets to get more money from. It's a tax on the poor. Um, you make a difference. You understand a joke. I don't know what they got going on. Um, She said, "There's a lot more to my story about the man I saw overseas. I may need a private session to explain it." Well, Rashida, I would love to give you a private session, conversation. If you want to schedule a private conversation, you can either go to my website at girltalkwithguys.com. And then go to the services portion, and it's like Talk with Kev Hick. You click on that, and there's a calendar. You can set a date and a time on our calendar, or you can just write talkwithkevhick.com. I'm sorry, not talkwithkevhick.com. Talkwithkevhick at gmail.com. And if you write me there, I'll give you full instructions on how to schedule your consultation. But yeah, if you need a private session, that's completely fine with me. I got some space, so I look forward to hearing from you, Miss Mo Fitzgerald. Kevin JY asks, why don't guys want to be friends first and just see where it goes from there? Some guys. Why don't some guys want to be friends first and just see where it goes from there? Well, a lot of guys do, but when a guy doesn't want to, I'm assuming that in this particular instance, the guy doesn't want to be friends. He wants to jump into a relationship. That's usually when a man's eager, it's because he knows what he wants. Uh, Sometimes, like I've talked to a girl once, and I talked to her into like the sunrise. I talked to her into like the sun rose one day. It was like immediately I was like, oh man, I like this girl. We got to be girlfriends or boyfriends. Now I was a bit overzealous at that point. I was a teenager, but I was just very sure that that's what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes guys just are very sure about what they want, and that's okay. Jay Watt asked it, and Mo Fitzgerald backed it up because I missed it. I appreciate you helping people out in the comment section. But a lot of times, guys don't want to be friends first because they are just very sure of what they want from a person. And if it's a relationship, that's great. But if he just don't want to be friends first because he's trying to get in your draws, then that's different. So you have to be very careful about what the motivation is. And if the request is a relationship, that's great. But if the request is, exploring you sexually, then that's something that you should be worried about. If that's not what you want, or if you want something more substantive. Uh, so I hope that answers your question, Jay Watt. Some guys just get overzealous, and other guys just really know what they want, or are crushing on you. And the bold moment that they have, they don't want to waste it. So just like, forget it. Can we be together? Or however they present that. Chinese dude said, "Wow, I'm sleepy." Tennessee dude, Jesus. Tennessee dude 96 says, my girlfriend cheated on me both times I was in jail, less than 2 months, both times. With the same guy. Ugh. After she told me about it, I apologized and called her and apologized. I called her texting him. What do I do? You gotta get rid of her, man. Tennessee dude 96. You gotta let her go. Can't we're not doing that. I don't advocate for women to get cheated on over and over and get abused. And I don't advocate it for men either. Your girlfriend cheating on you every time you go to jail, and you ain't got more than 2 months. I can see if you had a year or a year and a half, 2 years, your whole calendar, you got 2 months. She can't give 60 days to the Lord. Like, man, listen, you got to get rid of her, man. Because if she's cheating on you and you had less than 60 days, she was probably cheating on you when you was out. You miss her for 4 or 5 days, you probably in line at that point. So be honest, brother. If you can't trust a girl twice, you can't trust her 3 times. You gotta get rid of her, dog. You just gotta go. She gotta go. She gotta get the hell up out of here. She gotta go. Cause you gonna be asking about you gonna be taking a paternity test. You keep on playing. You just gonna be taking a paternity test. You're gonna be on Maury with some dude that probably got 3 or 4 teeth. Like you gotta get her up out of there, man. Like I said, if a man's cheating on a woman, I give her the same advice. You don't sit around and take shit unless you are comfortable with it, unless you're okay with it. But clearly, it's not giving you peace. And every time you get jammed, first of all, and stop getting jammed up. Stop going to jail, brother. Tennessee dude 96. You got to figure out how to make some improvements so you ain't always in jail. Because if you do find a good girl, you're gonna stress her out always in jail. But this ain't the good girl. So do what you will with that information. Mm. Somebody said, thank you for being so real. I appreciate you. You are appreciated beyond belief. Man, I appreciate y'all. I love people. I love the fact that people are still watching me at 1:45 in the morning. I appreciate that. Um, Let me see. Somebody said, thanks, bro. Sad but true. Man, listen, Tennessee dude, it is absolutely sad. I feel so bad for you, brother, but you got to get rid of her. She wrong. She ain't gonna stop because you home. Once she texts, she's still texting him. He's still getting it. That's just the bottom line, brother. Anyway, somebody said how Ellie J said, how important are looks in a relationship? Can you fall in love with someone you aren't physically attracted to? And if so, for how long should it take? Yes, you can absolutely fall in love with somebody you're not physically attracted to. I wasn't physically attracted to my first love at first, but after I fell in love with her, she was the most beautiful person that I ever knew. Like I just no nobody was more beautiful to her when I fell in love with her. Like physically, it was like I just hadn't noticed her at all. She was not my type. She just I had nothing to her. But she approached me, like we talked about. A woman can approach a man, and I agreed to get to know her over a month's time because I didn't have the interest in her because I never had noticed her physically. So I was like, listen, we can be cool. We can get to know each other, see if we got some things in common, and we'll reapproach this thing if we're gonna be together. Man, after I talked to her for a month, I was like, man, I got to have her, and and then she became attractive to me. So yeah, physical looks are important, but they're not as important as the connection and they're not important as they're not as important as the connection and as the feelings that developed. And I can't tell you how long it should take. I think that if you've been talking to them for a month or two and you're still not sure, you're just not into them. But if you start learning them in that capacity after about a month, you should know if you at least have the propensity to love them. She said, "Why did my comment get skipped over, Stormy?" I'm not skipping. My comment section like jumps. So how I see it, like y'all see it going up slowly, and you're watching your comments so you can see it. I'm trying to see like all the comments, and so I'm not noticing a good amount of comments. But I'm gonna go through the comments and see if I can find your comments, Stormy, because I think I should be able to find it. Your little emoji is green. But no, I'm not skipping over anybody's comments like on purpose, but my comment section skips around, and then like even if I'll be reading a question, I'll lose the question while I'm in the middle of reading it because the comment section will just jump after as it updates. It updates every so many seconds. Okay, I just found your comment, Stormy. She said, AJ, why this important as if see, I think that you was having a conversation with somebody else. She said it's important as if it was something to do with infidelity or financial reasons, but being divorced shouldn't scare someone off. See, y'all having a conversation ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm gonna see what her. See, I don't see a comment that's directed toward me from you, Stormy. So that's probably what happened. Somehow or another, I haven't seen your comment, so I'm sorry about that. Uh, Somebody said, has anybody ever dated a guy that literally said he liked all the same things you like just to please you? Yeah, he's a chameleon. You got to give him some time. If you get with one of them chameleons, you gotta actually date them for longer to see who they really are. If somebody always pretends to like the things you like, they're probably being disingenuous. So yeah, don't let a dude finesse you out of your draws by pretending to have more in common with you than he does. And JY said Tennessee, she probably been cheating. She definitely been cheating, Tennessee. You can't trust her. That dude was already ready. He knew your damn date just as you found out. You probably was in debt. You probably was in court like, yeah, I go on the 26th. You told your girl like, yeah, I go on the 26th. She just texting him like, yeah, he gonna be gone from the 26th to the 26th. So yeah, you need to get rid of her. Let me get back down to where I was at. Get back down to where I was at. See, I see Stormy's second comment why I get skipped over, but I don't see the first one. And it just skipped. I just lost my spot again. I seen another comment from Stormy, and I just lost my spot. She said, every time he goes to jail, why does he keep going to jail? That's a very good question, and that's why I asked him. I say, you gotta stop going to jail, brother. You can't keep going to jail because that shows me that you got some decision making issues that you need to work on. Sometimes a stupid thing that you do will follow you for a long time, and that's possible. But at the same time, you got to watch it. You got to just make better decisions so you don't put yourself or your woman in a position where she got to make those types of those types of decisions because she ain't gonna always make the one that benefits you. Um, Somebody said this video was in my recommended and now I'm stuck. LOL. Question. Somebody said Fashion Vixen said question. Should I tell a guy that I've never dated before if I'm in my late 20s? Uh, Also, why do so many guys make plans for a date and then ghost before meeting? I can't tell you about the ghost. Most of the time, well, I can't tell you. Most of the time, when guys ghost you, it's because they have other options romantically, and they were just setting up the weekend for themselves. Now, I never double booked. I try not to double book, when I was dating a lot of women at the same time. And I'm saying dating as in going out on dates and hanging out with, or going to the movies with, going out to eat with, not dating multiple women as in building interest in a romance. But I used to like going like 4 dates a week. I thought that was a pretty good number. I had a good time going on about 4 dates a week. Right. So for me, it was important for me that I never double book. So if something fell through, I just didn't go on a date that week or that day. Right. But that's when I was dating a lot because I like to go on dates. I go on blind dates and all kind of dates. I enjoy meeting new people for real and just figuring things out that way. But if a guy is making plans and then he's ghosting before the plans and you never hear from him again, he either got back with an ex or another woman that he was talking to that he liked more, gave him a bit more attention than he thought he was gonna get, and that he switched his plans up to make provisions for her. And she said, should I tell a guy that I've never dated before if I'm in my late 20s? No, you never tell a guy that because you don't want to be treated. You don't want to be treated like a rookie or a child. You don't know how people are going to react to that and why you want them to. You want to see them in their natural habitat, and you kind of want to get a feel for how they are naturally. Uh, you don't have to tell somebody if this is your first date. I think that's you can do that if you want to, but you don't have to do that. I don't think that gives you any value. It just makes a person feel pressured to be a certain way, whether that's perfect or it could be like a mentor. Like people will change their hats and become like the date teacher, and you just don't want to be treated like that on a date. So you can tell them a few dates in that, hey, you're actually the first person I've been dating. That's cool after something is established, but you definitely don't want to be just giving up all your business like that on a first date. My wife just sent me a question. Stormy. Okay, my wife sent me Stormy's question that I couldn't find. Stormy says, "Here's my question: Should a man should a man discuss his sexual history, like if he's been with trans women or men in general?" A lot of people say no. No, I don't. I don't think no. I think yes. I think that people should discuss their sexual history if they plan on being sexual with someone else. I don't know who the hell these people are that keep trying to say you can hide your sexuality and you can hide your sexual history and that you can have sex with people who are unknowing and in the dark about what you be into. You can't eat that. Like that's tacky and it's inconsiderate to me. Like there are people who defend like if a trans person is trans and they don't tell somebody and then you having sex with this trans person because the lights are off because ain't no surgeon that damn good, but you're having sex with a trans person, you don't realize it's a trans person. That I don't think you can give people. I don't think that it's consent if it's under false pretenses. I think that you always have to let people know exactly what they're getting into. And I think if a person is smart, they're going to ask those questions before things get sexual. That's why that's my issue with promiscuity is that first of all, people are diseased, and second of all, you never know who you land down with, and people just think that second, we grown. No, you're not that damn grown. Some people are screwed up, and you don't want to be screwed up after encountering one of these people. That's why what they say 1 out of 5 people got herpes. That's because everybody grown. That's exactly why. So as far as Stormy's question about what did she say? Should a man discuss his sexual history, like if he's been with trans women or men in general? Yes, you do. You absolutely should be discussing what you're into or the things that could present a problem for somebody else. You don't get to hide the fact that you're bisexual if you're dealing with somebody, especially if you know that they have that they have a guy, that they have an issue with that. Like if you think that it's going to be a deal breaker, it's probably because you know that it's going to be a problem. So that's not necessarily first date conversation. Again, just like with the bisexual woman, that's not necessarily first date conversation. But before y'all start having sex, people should know what you're into, so they can give consent from a place of knowledge and from a place of awareness. I just think that's the fair thing to do. And I think it's reckless and a bit dangerous for you to surprise somebody with something sexual because like some people are not going to take it mature, in a mature way. Some people are going to be a bit immature about it. My wife sent me 3 questions that I missed. She said Tiffany McKinney says, shout out Tiffany. She says, How do you move on when you like somebody and he knows it? When you like someone and he knows it, but just wants to be friends. He's in constant contact, texting, calling, but does not want romance. I'm following, he's not. What do I do? You have to create distance. He's choosing to create this relationship that benefits him, and in a way is hurting you. And while his intentions might be good because he sees value in you as a person, at the moment, it's unhealthy for you to be in this relationship when you're being tortured emotionally every day and you're not letting new men in who could probably have more value to you in the future because you're still stuck on this person that's taking up all of your personal time and all your thought life. Unfortunately, sometimes it's very difficult for women and men to be friends because of the potential relationship issues that you might have dealing with the romance and the unreciprocated feelings, right? So if you want to be healthy, or if you want to get yourself back to a place where you're willing to date, it might take some separation from this relationship. And if this person really wants to be your friend, and they'll give you that space and still be there when you actually calm down emotionally. But if you find yourself avoiding new relationships with men, not moving on, or not being more content romantically, uh, in a couple of months or in a couple of weeks or however long you think it should take you to get over this, then you either need to seek some help or you need to move. You need to move into a more distant type of relationship with him until you can get the peace, enough peace to separate yourself and not feel so heartbroken, and then you can come back and be friends once the feelings wear off. um, some people can psych themselves out. Like I used to be able to psych myself out. If I was into somebody and they told me no, I was able to separate them. Like I was able to quarantine them in my mind from all romance, and I could handle it. I could move on as friends, and I could be straight. It just took me about a week or two to shake that stuff off. But if you're not like that, then you might need to create some distance. And my wife gave me another question. This third question. Let me see what she sent me. She says, Gangsta in Heels. What's up, Gangsta in Heels? Gangsta in Heels, 8 minutes ago. Wow, it says, why do men have so much pride when it comes to their feelings? I'm not sure. I suppose it's pride. It's pride, but it's because we're not groomed to express our feelings. Our society doesn't nurture men's feelings; it nurtures women's feelings. Um, men aren't really men aren't really congratulated or nurtured for having feelings. In fact, they're ridiculed for having feelings. They're not really allowed to openly express them. Men feel a whole lot more than they express, that's a learned behavior. That's a learned coping mechanism to just feel things and deal with it and feel things in silence. So it's not necessarily pride. It's not something that we like that we have to do, and it's not something that feels good as we're doing it. It's just something that we feel we have to do. Uh, I don't think it's all bad. I think sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you just got to be tough. I get it. Um, and I don't believe in complete vulnerability for men, for self-respecting men either. So there's a fine balance that should be struck, but at the same time, um, men are like that. It's not always a pride thing as much as it is a self-preservation or emotional safety thing. It's safer for us to not be vulnerable because it's not expected of us, and it is a very heavy responsibility to be sharing your feelings with people. That's heavy. It's taxing. And it's something that we've been able to escape because of our grooming. No one expects men to share their feelings, and so the guys who do share their feelings are really going out of their way. They're volunteering information. So it's just a responsibility that we don't have, in large part, and it's very taxing. So it's like if we're not required to clean up the house, we're not going to volunteer. If we're not required to go to work, we got the day off. We're not going to go into work anyway because we're so passionate about our jobs. We're not required to share our feelings. Why get into that very, very heavy place and be crying and feeling less masculine just because, we want to share it? It's just vulnerability is not something that people like to share for no reason. My wife sent me another text. She said, Lady T says, um, wow, like 13 minutes ago, she says, what does it mean when a man says, you're a complex woman, you represent many things for him? For example, friend, sister, teacher, and the sexual come and goes. I think you serve a lot of purposes for that guy. You wear a lot of hats. That guy probably doesn't have as many women in his life, or as many women of substance, and so you serve a lot of purposes, and there's some attraction there. Um, she said, also, our connection is multi-dimensional, spiritual, emotional, mentally stimulating. We're both good-looking people. Yeah, I think that you can wear a lot of hats for a person. You can serve a lot of purposes in their life, and I'm wondering if for whatever reason, I don't know. I guess you're not with him. You're hoping to be with him. I'm assuming. I'm trying to get the context of the relationship. It looks like you're just in a situationship with a person that you have a very deep connection with. My question would then be, why isn't it more? What's holding you guys back from exploring this connection as a couple instead of as a people as two individuals? Exploring each other. If a man says you represent a lot of things to him, that speaks a lot to his propensity to love you, because he's connected to you on so many different levels. So it's a great thing, unless he's telling you that he doesn't want a relationship, and then you have to wonder why. If you're everything he needs, then what's wrong with starting a relationship? Sometimes a lot of guys will have a woman like that who offers so much, but they don't have a lot to offer her because they're in another relationship or situation. And so if you find yourself in a position like that where a man's giving you credit for being, all of these things, but he won't commit to you, then either he's damaged or he's in a relationship. Some men are too damaged and untrusting of things, and they think everything love is too good to be true. So they'll have a woman like that and they won't commit to her. They'll just say, well, I'm not talking to nobody else, but I don't want to be your man. You understand that, don't you? So I guess there's a lot of complexities that can be there, but in general, it's a good sign as long as he's not avoiding a relationship. Lady T. Good gracious. Let me see. Let me make sure my wife didn't send me nobody else a question. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm back on it. Say good info. Love your channel. I appreciate it. Let me see. Somebody said it's 12:46 in Houston. I don't know what time it was. 12:46 here. It's 2:03. 2:03 where I'm at. Somebody said I dated a guy who looks like Spike Lee. I was like, hell no. Then I fell in love with him. What the F? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. If you love a person, they become beautiful to you physically. You start to like physically, they become the thing that you're attracted to sexually. Like it gets crazy. So a person can really have rose-colored glasses, and sometimes a person's heart becomes their eyes, and that can be a good or bad thing. If you got a good person, then that's a great thing. But if you got a shitty person and they ugly on the inside and out, and you just looking at them, with all this love in your eyes, and you just be looking crazy to everybody else. Good gracious. Damn, my wife she done blocked somebody else. Jesus. Somebody got on her damn nerves because she done blocked this person multiple times. I don't want to hear that about. Let me see. Any advice for women who never get approached? Start making impressions. And by impressions, I don't mean go up to a dude, hey, yo, what's your name, sir? What's your name, Poppy? I don't know what the hell you would say. That just would sound ridiculous. But you can strike up a random conversation with a person. If you're at the mall, a person shopping, and you see them picking up something, you say, "Oh man, that's a cool outfit. I think that's gonna look good on you." Something like that. Like you just have to strike up a conversation, however that occurs. Once you strike up a conversation with a man and smile at him enough in that conversation, he realizes that he's invited to either pursue you or not. That's a way. If you don't want to if you don't want to make the first move, but you want a guy to ask for your number or to contact you more or to contact you, you still have to make the impression. You don't have to ask for his number or you don't have to accelerate anything, but you do have to strike up the conversation, make the small talk, invite him to approach you by being friendly with him and verbal with him first. You're just making the impression, and then he's following through. That's if you don't want to approach a guy like from start to finish. And that's what I normally recommend. I don't normally recommend a girl so far as you approach him and you get his number and you walk off like OG. I mean, you can do that if you got to have the moves. But most women can make small talk with somebody that they haven't met before. They just can make enough small talk with a guy until he realizes that you're conversing. Like, wow, we're actually talking. We're not just sitting here, chit chatting anymore. Just talk to the guy as long as you can talk to him until he realizes he's invited. Say, hey, it was really nice talking to you. And he say, hey, before you go, what's your number? That's all it takes. It don't take a whole lot. And that way, if you're talking to him, you realize in 5 minutes if you even want him to have your number or not. But if nobody's approaching you, then you have to do something. You can't do what you've always done and expect anything different than what you've always gotten. You do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So try to do something else. Um, oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, I've been on here for a minute. I guess I need to get off of here and go watch some TV with my wife. I know she's been catching up on her soaps and stuff, so she's straight. But she'll tell me when I'm getting on her damn nerves and I need to get off of here. But I think I done damn talked my voice down. I done gave a seminar. I've been on here for, oh God, I've been on here for 3 hours. YouTube is about to cut me off anyway. I think YouTube has a 3-hour limit, so I'm gonna get the hell up off of here. Listen, I really appreciate all y'all for stopping by and showing love to me, especially on my birthday and all the birthday shout outs. I appreciate people who've been sticking to my channel. I appreciate all the new subscribers I got, all the new views. Man, all the love I've been getting. It's been validation that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with my life and with my gifts. And as I develop, I'll ultimately hope to help develop others, man. So, nigger lovers. See what I'm talking about? Don't give a fuck. Anyway, like I said, I really appreciate everybody that's coming through and showing some love. I'm gonna see y'all later. I'll probably have a video up for y'all in a couple of days. But if not, it'll definitely be up by the weekend. I really appreciate y'all. Like I said, y'all have a wonderful night. I'm gonna watch some TV because I ain't going to bed till like 5. Good night. Y'all be cool. Don't let the bed bugs bite. All of that. Deuces. Yes, I want to end it.